I wasn't kidding when I said their best option is to settle. That is genuinely the truth. It is genuinely the truth.
And settle the way I said to settle. And oh my God, the comments that got on TikTok and the comments I've gotten off that short where I make my message directly to Ethan to have them settle by waiving their right to fair use. Now, I don't know if you can actually waive that right. I'll go ahead and be honest. I don't know if you actually can. I see no reason you couldn't, but it hasn't been tested yet. So anyone who says that they know you can't also doesn't know. I don't know if they can because no one's tried, and they don't know if you can either. I, however, see no reason why you couldn't. Everything I looked up and everything I found said that you can waive any right except the rights granted to you by the 13th Amendment. I'm like 90% positive, but I'm not a lawyer. I want to see if the lawyer agrees with me, but I'm like 90% positive that the judge is probably going to give a summary judgment. I don't see a good chance of this actually even going to court.
And summary judgment isn't ruled on by the jury. It's ruled on by the judge. Yep. So I know there was a super chat earlier saying, is a judge or a jury going to rule on this? Well,
could be
they
either
demand
or.
a jury trial. However, a judge could grant summary judgment for the clients. And this is a case where I think there is a good possibility the clients could get summary judgment.
Boom! Did I nail it or did I fucking nail it? Alright, I feel vindicated now. The fucking lawyer agrees with me. So we're getting ready to do another video about legal mindset. Looks like this is a long one. Could be the rest of the stream. Might not be. I don't know. I also have another long one to do after this, so this might be an all-night stream. Or it might not. Who knows? We'll see how this goes. Yeah, that one's almost 2 hours. The next one's almost 2 hours. I don't know if I get to that one tonight. Destiny's court case update. Destiny's court case update is, well, it's from his perspective, because last I checked, the other party in his case isn't talking. They're a lot smarter. Pixie appears to be a lot smarter than Denims, Frogan, and Casatron combined, because once she got into legal troubles, or once she decided to file a lawsuit against Destiny, she shut the fuck up, which is the right move. That's what you should do. When you have a pending legal battle, shut the fuck up. Number one rule, every lawyer, I'm not a lawyer, but this is free legal advice that I think every lawyer on the planet will agree with. Number one rule, first thing you should do, if you have any pending court shit going on, whether it be a lawsuit, criminal case, whatever, the minute you have a court date, any and all things related to that court date, you need to, say it with me, chat, shut the fuck up. Exercise your right to remain silent. Don't say shit. Don't talk about it. Don't post about it. Keep that shit between you and your lawyer until the court date. When the court date's over, you can turn all that into content. You can talk about it, post on social media to your heart's content. Make all the TikTok videos you want. But until that date, mum's the word, Chief. Alright. But Denims, Casatron, and Frogan are not so smart. Because they won't. They're doing the exact... Oh, excuse me. They're doing the exact opposite of shutting the fuck up. They refuse to shut the fuck up. So, we have a lawyer that's actually breaking down the paperwork that we read on this very stream. And I want to see his takes on this. To see if I do, in fact, think like a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be. But I have been through the court system a few times, so I like to think that I have a general understanding of some of this stuff. It's always fun to watch a law tuber break this stuff down to see how right I was. See if it's been a while since I've actually been in court, so I have never been sued. So how close am I to, accurately reading the situation? It's always fun to have my my homework checked, so to speak. So without further ado, legal mindset. Help me understand if I have a legal mindset.
Let us start with the lawsuits, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
And the first one up, per popular demand, is our girl, Denims.
All right, he's pulling up
So
the
we
paperwork.
got this one. Obviously, this is filed 80 pages. Strap in, boys.
We read all 84, I believe it's 84, 86. We read all 80 plus pages of that right here on stream with no interruption. So if you guys want to get the information without some guy's commentary or opinion over it, whether you know it'd be Legal Mindset or some other YouTuber, I read it to you like an audiobook and I save my thoughts until the end. So if you want just a straight reading, you can find that on my channel. If you want a Law Tubers review, you can check out Legal Mindset. He's probably going to do the other ones. I don't know if we'll watch them. And I imagine there's probably a good debate going on in his comment section too, so it's probably worth going to check out his video. But that's why we're watching this, because I read these documents in their entirety right here on stream, and anybody who was here for that, you can now say you've read them too, because you got all the information I got. And let's see how a lawyer interprets that information we now all know.
Once again, we're going up to 2.5 hours here. This is in the United States District Court, Central District of California. So 2 things to note: California, but this is in U.S. courts. I mean, federal court, not state court. So there's the federal rules of procedure, not the state rules, right?
Which we read that in the jurisdiction part of it.
And this is in the Central District of California. This is TED Entertainment, California Corporation, versus Alexandra Marwa Saber, a.k.a. Denims, or PKA Denims.
It's not doxing. Even the lawyer doesn't think it's doxing. He is going to read the information as written. So sick of people going, he's trying to dox them. But no, your legal name on a legal document isn't doxing. That's called public record. That's how legal shit works. You can't go to court under the name Denims. You got to use your legal name, and that is and legal documentation is public record. So it's just how that works. If you think it's doxing, or if you don't agree with it, you might want to take it up with Uncle Sam.
And you can see here, jury trial demanded. So I would presume that if this proceeds to trial, there will be a jury trial. So Chip.
My prediction was, and we'll see if I'm right, my prediction was that it's not even going to make it to trial. That the evidence against her is so blatant and obvious that there is no good argument against it. So the judge will just make a ruling without ever letting it even go to court. Because he'll be like, I don't think there's any way. Basically, that's the judge saying, I don't think there's any way you can even argue against this. So I'm just going to go ahead and rule on it now. Which is bad, but what I believe will happen.
Typically, they will grant that. So let's go down here. You've got this one, and here you got The Nightmare on Denham Street. So I've talked about legal writing. Legal writing is boring. And
it is. We read the whole thing. It's pretty. Actually, I don't find it boring. I find it interesting, but I'm a weirdo, so I get it. To your everyday Joe, this shit probably is boring. He probably finds it interesting too, because I can see the look on his face. Like, he's probably as giddy as I would be. Like, oh, here we go.
Judges are humans. You want to entertain them. So while many people may find these things silly, as long as they are not distracting, adding something interesting that is not completely distracting is okay.
Yeah, I said that at the time. He needs to keep the he needs to keep the judge's attention. If the judge gets bored reading your complaint, then that's definitely not going to help him either approve your complaint or even take it to court. Yeah, like, it's not going to look good for you. You want to keep it interesting for the judge. A lot of people complained that the H3 stuff was a bit too memey, that he's memeing in the court documents, and he's adding all that extra stuff, and that looks bad for him. It looks like he's desperate. No, it just looks like he's trying to entertain the judge. The only thing you can say is improper about it is whether or not the stuff he said in it was untrue. Did he say anything that was untrue? No, I'd argue that there were some portions of it you could probably leave out that might actually hurt his case. And I want to see if this lawyer points it out, because I pointed out at the time that the whole the whole bit he put in all 3 of their lawsuits about how the content of the nuke takes up 75% of the screen, and that the streamer is relegated to a small box in the corner, de-emphasizing their presence. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's every reaction live stream ever, including yours. So I'm not I'm not sure that applies here, man. I mean, it does apply, I guess. You didn't say anything that was untrue, but it could also, I feel like that part should have been left out because their lawyers are almost definitely going to bring that up as an argument against them and go, well, that's what you do. And it's gonna make you look bad. Like, you kind of softballed that one in there for him. It's probably the only real argument they got at this point is that you're being a hypocrite. And they'll point that out to say you were a hypocrite. And Ethan could easily counter that by just agreeing with him and going, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't do that either. Me doing that does de-emphasize my presence. He shouldn't even say that he shouldn't do it. He should say, you're right. I do put the content up on screen and it does de-emphasize my presence. But I do this, and this, and you didn't. So it's all the extra stuff that you do on top of that makes it. So that would be probably how I would imagine that that argument would go down.
It's fine in legal writing to be engaging. You don't have to be boring. That's a misnomer about legal writing, that you have to be boring. In fact, the best legal writing tells a story. Humans like stories. Everybody likes stories. I love stories. I read books all the time, audio.
That's why we're all here on this stream. We love a good story, a little bit of drama.
Books, everything else. I love story, right? I read the 40K novels all the time. You've got to keep people engaged. And legal stuff is no different. If you can make it interesting and keep people laughing or, just engaged, paying attention, that's good. That's really good. Back to the Nightmare on Denim Street, okay? Back to the Nightmare on Denim Street. All right. We're relying on you to stay live, so we don't have to give the nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he's confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it, Denims, prior to reacting to content Nuke is on Piker. So
it's a hell of a way to start it off, too, man. Ooh, this is a bad car. I don't want this one.
So you start strong. He started with an engaging title.
Yeah, he started
Nightmare on Denim Street, and a engaging quote, which goes right to the heart of it and really is the most damning piece of evidence. So he's putting at the beginning of the complaint, at the beginning, up front,
yeah, he came out swinging, brother. Gloves are fucking off.
Most damning evidence against Denims. That's the way to do it. That's correct. You start with something really strong that that the judge can't disagree with. It's like in sales. You start getting people to say yes. That's sales psychology. And it works in general psychology. If you start by asking someone to do something small, like, hey, can I borrow a pen? Or, hey, can you get me a glass of water? You continually ask them to do other things and agree with you until they're agreeing with you on things that are more extreme.
Sales is about 90% manipulation. That's why people say that they don't like salesmen and they feel scummy, because their job is literally to manipulate you into buying something. It's one part selling the product and two parts manipulation. I had a sales job once and I didn't like it because I didn't like the way that I had to misrepresent things. I'm too honest of a person, and I was a terrible salesman. In order to be a good salesman, you have to be somewhat manipulative. Now, if you're selling a really good product that sells itself, then you can just be honest, and it's all about just being upbeat and having a good attitude about it. But most sales jobs are manipulation. And that's also kind of part of being a lawyer. Your job is to manipulate a jury, is to get them on your side, is to sway them to your argument. There's a little bit of manipulation involved in that, especially during a jury trial. A lot of people go, well, the facts will speak for themselves. True, sometimes. But also, if the jury just really likes you, then, we saw this over and over again at Better Call Saul. There were many a times that, Saul is clearly representing a piece of shit person, and he's clearly in the wrong. But because Saul's such a lovable guy, he could still win. That was kind of the point.
Basic psychology. So it works in writing as well. And this is what they're doing here, which is smart, which is clever, which is good. And yeah, it's effective. Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, and throw a prime if you like my content. So this is once again going to the heart of it. It's strong evidence that is saying directly, we are siphoning views. We are using ourselves as a substitute by not giving any views to that video. Big oof. These two.
Oof. Yeah, big oof. Did he just use Roblox terminology? Maybe this lawyer is a gamer. I saw what you did there, brother. Good job.
are the best pieces of evidence that he has. And then we're going to go from there. Okay. This lawsuit is about ending the practice of lazy reaction videos that copy entire copyrighted works and purposely siphon revenue away from the original. Let's start with this first sentence. It's really important to break it down.
That's what we're here for.
If this first sentence was just this, I would have a problem with it more than and this, right? This is ambiguous. Lazy reaction videos that copy entire copyrighted works. That is something that could be legal or could be illegal.
Context matters.
It could be okay to have a reaction video that someone else calls lazy, but is actually legally sufficient. So
yeah, the amount of effort put into the work itself doesn't matter. Like, lazy can be an opinion thing. The amount of effort put into it, and the if some guy's just sitting there turning on a camera and he's only commenting 2 or 3 times during a video, but the stuff he said completely changes the context because he's saying things that are so well thought out and profound, even though he's not commenting every 2 seconds like a Denims who needs to pause it every 2 seconds, go, what? Yeah, like, the amount of times you stop it doesn't make it fair use. It's what you're saying. So, but that's also open to interpretation, which I said at the time. So far, so good. I've kind of hit the nail on the head here. Again, I think most of this shit is like common sense. It's stuff that every streamer should already know, especially streamers like Denims and Frogan and Hassan. Hassan definitely knows it, which is why he's been a lot smarter about it than they've been. But every streamer should already know when something feels like fair use. Basically, if you wouldn't want someone to do it with your content, you shouldn't do it with someone else's. Like you're a content creator too. You're in the same space as them. You should know what it would feel like if somebody picked up one of your videos and watched it the way that you're watching theirs, and adding nothing to it and leaving an empty chair on stream, or doing all the shit that they do. Most people understand when a reaction is fair and when it just feels like stealing. Especially content creators. Most content creators just should intuitively know this.
Lazy is subjective. It's a wide open standard. So what is a lazy video? Some people have called like reacting, like putting on a documentary and like reacting to it, talking to it, and putting up points and say, oh, that's kind of lazy. What's lazy is subjective. So I don't like that. But they added the other part to it. They added purposefully siphon views and revenue away from the original. So when the judges are looking at this, you're saying, oh, we're not ruling on just whether you can.
Yeah, being lazy is fine. Like Ethan even says, if content's lazy, because he thinks that XQC's is lazy, but he admitted that he'll never sue him because even though his content's lazy, it's not malicious. This is just the kind of content he has, and he does it in good faith, and he tells people to go watch Ethan. Like, he doesn't try to steal Ethan's views, and he sends his audience over there to him. And there's a lot of crossover. And I do believe that there's a lot of crossover between XQC's audience and Ethan's audience because of this. This is all the stuff I argued about fair use when we were going over the Dark Viper thing, because fair reaction stuff should be a net positive to both the reactor and the owner of the video they're reacting to. Like, it should be a net positive for everybody involved. If what you're doing doesn't have, I'm not even going to say it has to be net positive, but if the reaction you're having, if the kind of content you're making doesn't have the potential to be a net positive, then you've done something wrong. And I say potential because sometimes small creators can't add views to a bigger creator when they react to them. So you're like, well, it's not positive. You didn't add anything to theirs. And be like, yeah, well, they're also a lot bigger of a creator, so context matters there. It's whether or not it had the potential to. If my video went viral, would it have led to more views for them? Did it help? Could it have promoted them in some way? Could it have helped get them in the algorithm to be shown to other people? So all of that stuff has to be taken into account. But none of that stuff matters when they outright state the purpose of the video was to take views away from the original creator. When that's your purpose, well, now there's no interpretation left to be open. You outright stated your theft. So it should be treated as theft.
React, because that's kind of gray area. It's react plus. Do that. And remember, he's even made it better for reaction streamers. So, reaction streamers. He said entire copyrighted works. So, in this case,
yeah, I feel like Ethan was very careful with his wording because he only wants to go after Denims and Frogan and Caseytron, and he's trying not to get any regular reaction channels like mine or Turkey Tom. Well, Turkey Tom doesn't do reaction stuff anymore because of the Destiny incident. But other React streamers like me, Nicholas Diorio, Chud Logic, all of us who do our reactions, including Legal Mindset here, which is what he's doing, he does reaction content too, even though he does it from a legal standpoint. He doesn't want to get any of them, he doesn't want those guys to catch a stray. He doesn't want to hurt reaction content as it stands. He just wants to stop people from doing what Frogan and Denims did. He was very particular about his wording there.
The judges could rule in favor of Ethan, and you could still view a part of the video, and it would be okay as long as you don't review the entire video. So the precedent could be limited to only people that watch all of the content and explicitly siphon views. So there's two ways to limit that down, to make that more narrow. And I think those are reasonable ways, and I think they're legally enforceable, and I think those would be an objective standard. It has to be the entire video, and it has to be purposefully siphoning views. Those are very objective standards.
Yeah, he was very intentional with his wording there, which good on him. Good on him. He could have worded that in a way that could have fucked over everybody. Everybody making reaction content as a whole and just completely ruined the reaction content space, which I would say would be a bad thing. Reaction content does have value, and it's been around forever. Some people don't even realize that some of the content that they grew up with was reactionary content. Beavis and Butthead was a reaction show. Their whole first season before they became, the duo that made a movie and left the couch and stuff, most of their show for those first couple seasons was them at home reacting to music videos like we do here on YouTube, where they watch a music video and they comment on it and they giggle through it and they make dumb jokes, and then that's it. And they would very rarely, for very small skits during the show, they would leave the house to go get in shenanigans, and then they'd go back home and watch more music videos. The bulk of the show back then was reaction stuff. And shows like Mystery Science Theater 3000, the bulk of that is just reacting to B movies. That's pretty much the entirety of that show. So reaction stuff has existed long before the internet, and I don't think a lot of people either think about that or realize it, but that's important. And you don't want to kill that space, especially on the internet, because it's important. It's important that we can exercise our freedom of speech and comment on things that we see and create that discourse where we go back and forth.
Entire video, purposely siphon views. I can agree with that. I don't have a problem with that legal standard. All right, back to the lawsuit so we're not here all night.
Good job.
Over 7 years ago, the owners of plaintiff Ted Entertainment, Ethan, and Gila Klein established a legal standard for fair use in Hosadiah versus Klein. So this is very fun fact about the Kleins. They have been involved.
What?
In
How was I the
copyright
only one that got
lawsuits.
hit
So
by that?
What this means is they have lawyers that are experienced here. So while the Kleins have a major advantage, both in money and experienced lawyers, now Denims, Frogan, and Caseytron, they might be out there getting the Saul Goodmans of the copyright law world. We have no idea. They may have to get the strip mall lawyer because, frankly, I don't think they're going to have enough money for the white glove, top tier New York law firms or California law firms that are at the top tier of their game. I just don't think so.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to hire. Look, Ethan's probably got a team of lawyers on retainer ready to go. They're not getting a team of lawyers. They're going to get one guy up against a team of people. Like, Ethan has a law firm. Like, he is definitely coming prepared. And I don't think that they realize just how prepared that this man is coming. Giggity.
So I think they're going to end up with some guys who may, have a mismatched blazer and pants in the courtroom. Who knows? Who knows? But when you
Hey, that's a good look, man. I like the Saul look.
cite your own cases, this is going to be interesting. As a genre, reaction videos vary widely in terms of purpose, structure, and extent to which they potentially rely on copyrighted material. Reaction videos like the Klein video that intersperse short segments of another's work with criticism and commentary constitute fair use. I agree with this. Short segments are okay. In contrast, reaction videos are more.
Yeah. If you're watching 20, 30 minutes of a video before you comment again, even if the comment you're adding is substantial, you've watched too much. I'd say a couple minutes is fine. 2 or 3 minutes, probably fine. Even as much as 5. But that comment you're making better be substantial. You can't stop the video every 5 minutes to pull an XQC and go, that's crazy, chat. That's crazy. Yeah, like you can't do that. But stopping every 2 to 3 seconds to just go, what? That's insane. That's wild, chat. To just add nothing also doesn't make it okay. Like just because you're stopping a lot to add commentary doesn't mean that commentary is like you have to have something to say. You have to have some kind of context to add.
Into a group viewing session, and they do not. I generally would agree. However, I think some videos which add value are transformative. So if you are commenting on a 30-minute video and you add 30 minutes of commentary, I think that is clearly sufficient in my mind.
I'd argue it depends on what you're saying during that 30 minutes. If it's 30 minutes of you stopping every 2 minutes to go, wow, chat, and then that all just adds up and it's just you saying the same thing over and over, I wouldn't agree with that. Like when you look at one of mine, I've watched a video for 30 minutes. I've watched a 30-minute video, and my reaction to it is an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Obviously, I'm saying more than just that's crazy, chat. So that's substantive. But you'd have to actually watch the content to verify that. You can't just look at the time. Like, I don't think you can boil this down to just a time number to go, oh, well, the video was 30 minutes long and his reaction is an hour and a half long, so it must be substantive. Maybe not. You still have to actually look at the work. I don't think you can just look at the times, at the length of the video and be able to make a ruling on that alone.
Or an hour of commentary. Typically for me, whenever I review a video or review a clip, I tend to add 2 times to 3 times more commentary. I've counted than the length of the video. So if I'm reacting to a 30-minute video, it's going to be at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour of commentary if I'm going through the whole thing, which is why I don't like to do that very often because it really lags. It really goes long. This involves the group viewing session hosted by defendant Alexandra Marwa-Saber, a.k.a. Denims. Denims specifically identified her group viewing session to siphon views and revenue away from the copyrighted work. The Content Nuke and the H3H3 Show 105 Countdown to Doomsday, collectively the work. So, by the way, he's suing for 2 videos, so that's a very important fact here. Denims timed her group viewing sessions to coincide with the exact moment that he released the works. This is also deadly. This one is also deadly. The fact that she did it live. She didn't even wait. She did it live. If she had waited and done it the next day or done it 2 days after, Denims would have a better argument. But she didn't wait because these people are impatient idiots.
Because they wanted to steal the views. Like getting in on the ground floor and getting to it immediately was the point. They wanted to steal the views. And that only adds to his argument that they were definitely there to steal the views.
They have no idea about the law. They have no idea about anything. And doing things like that, doing things live, and was perfect. It really put her in the worst possible legal position. She's screwed. And once again, never 100%, but we're approaching, I think, upper 70s, 80s, 90s in the percentage chance. I would even say right now, before I read any more of this, at this point, I'm leaning on the 90s% for side of Ethan, legally speaking.
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty obvious right from the jump that she does not have. I'm not saying she doesn't have a fighting chance. She could get the Saul Goodman of copyright lawyers here, but God, the chances are low, man.
Not personally, legally. Her timing was intended to capitalize on the intense public interest in the works and siphon the maximum amount of views and revenue away from the works to herself by showing the works in their entirety, or nearly their entirety. The moderators of the H3 Snark subreddit, the H3 Snark mods, heavily promoted Denims. Now, these guys,
I want to hear what he says about these guys, because this is what I believe the true purpose of those lawsuits was. I believe the true purpose was to bait out the H3 snark mods, was to get them subpoenaed and get their real names. They were copy and pasted into all three of these lawsuits, which gives him 3 chances to get them subpoenaed. I believe that's, I personally believe that Ethan cares about that more than Denims and Frogan. Denims and Frogan just gave him the door, just opened the door for him to sue. Like, tacking them onto to this was smart instead of trying to sue them directly on their own, because suing a subreddit like that, it's a much harder case. But when it's tied into something so obviously malicious and such obvious theft, then I think that the judge is willing to subpoena them just to get statements from them about this. And if you subpoena them, you get their real names and addresses. Then you can actually sue them individually after this. So I believe that this is only the start of Ethan's lawsuits. Once he has the name and addresses of those H3 snark mods, he's going, mock my words, he's going in on them next. Way harder than he went on these. Like, he's memeing about this and having fun. Those is going to be just pure fucking anger. And you know what? Deserved. They tried to take his kids.
I should be, as you would say in French, shitting their pants. These people should be very, very concerned, because I think these mods were speaking very freely,
yes,
in their DMs and their messages, etc., other places, and all of that is subject to discovery.
And you set the precedent that, like, being anonymous on the internet and, you know, saying whatever you want in DMs and stuff, that just because you're anonymous doesn't mean that you've got immunity. Like, you can still be held responsible for the things that you say, and you can't just say things that could get people hurt or try to get people's kids taken away. Like, you can't do this. There was another video I was going to watch, but I don't know enough about the community, and it just felt bad. But there was another video by a husband whose wife, they ran an animal sanctuary or something, and they had a YouTube channel. Anyway, they had a snark subreddit dedicated to them. And, well, the wife killed herself. Like, she committed suicide over the fucking snark mod, over the snark subreddit that was dedicated to them. Like, they just harassed her. People, it was the same story it is with Ethan, where people started showing up to her house and whatnot. She already suffered from depression, and they knew that, and they used that as a weapon against her. And eventually she died. And then they celebrated her death, and he made a video about it. And that's fucking sad, man. That's super fucking sad. Like, there's real life consequences to this shit, and that's definitely what these people want. These people don't just want you off the internet. They want you off the face of the earth if they can accomplish it, which is their ultimate goal. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. I've seen the stuff that these people say. I'm glad that H3 is exposing it, that this is how these people talk. Like, these people are insane. They are stuck at home, and they just, it's endless. Like, they're obsessed. If anyone acted like this outside of the internet, which eventually it did go outside of the internet, then they'd be a stalker. Like, it wouldn't just be funny memes anymore. So it should be punished. You shouldn't be able to get away with it just because you're a username on Reddit and you think you're safe because no one knows who you are. So him setting that standard that you're not safe because you're behind a username will probably help the internet as a whole. I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of snark-esque subreddits start voluntarily deleting themselves after this.
And all these DMs and messages and emails between these moderators being subject to discovery, which means Ethan Klein is going to get them. And ultimately, we the people, we the public, are probably going to get to see some of those. That is going to be gold to see the conversations that they had. And
he's as excited as I am. He's right. It is going to be gold. It's a content gold mine. I'm going to read every one of those DMs on stream, too, to see what these crazy motherfuckers say behind the scenes. Like, it needs to be highlighted in as many places as possible. A few months back, Ethan said he was trying to sue Reddit. So he wanted to sue Reddit, but he didn't have enough on Reddit by itself for a lawsuit. So I believe that this was his plan. He needed a backdoor way in. Suing Reddit as a whole is a lot harder than suing the individual mods. So he may not have had a case against Reddit as a whole because of a subreddit. But he definitely has a case against these individual snark mods because of their behavior. So I think it's a lot smarter to try to find a backdoor to go after the individuals than after Reddit as a company.
Intent behind them. Because these people weren't careful in their emails and DMs. These people were malicious. These people were, I guarantee you, I don't need to see them to know this. I guarantee you they were, which is going to be killer. And I think this is going to change the...
And here's where they're going to scream about the law tuber engaging in bad faith because he said he didn't need to see it. He already knows it. What he means is the same thing Ethan meant when he said that he knew that they would watch his video, and why that's not entrapment. You're predictable. Your actions are predictable. It's not hard to figure out what you would do or say, just like it's not hard to figure out that if I wave a Slim Jim in front of a dog, he's going to want to eat it. Like, you don't need to wave a Slim Jim in front of a dog to go, how's he going to react? We won't know until we do it. No, we know. It's a dog. He's going to try to eat it. You're a snarker. You're going to do snarker things. I think it's pretty obvious.
Culture of a lot of these subreddits and other communities that now realize, hey, we're fully open and exposed here, both legally and in terms of what we did. It's not private. People think these messages and things are private, and they're not. As a direct result, Denims viewing sessions peaked at approximately 45,000 concurrent views. Holy smokes. Well,
it's like 3 or 4 times her normal. Like, I think that alone will prove the point that she was trying to steal views and was successful in her in her goal of stealing views. Because the judge will look at that and be like, well, it looks like it worked. Can you explain all the extra views if you weren't trying to steal views? And then I don't even know how she defends herself on that one. Like, what do you even say to that? What do you even say to that? That's like someone saying that they made a rounding error at the bank, and the bank going, yeah, he was trying to siphon money from accounts to make his account bigger. And then you suddenly see $1 million extra in the employee's account, and the judge will have to go, why is there an extra $1 million in your account if this wasn't the intended purpose? Be like, I didn't know it would happen. Yeah, I think it's obvious what you were doing once you've got like the numbers to prove it.
Previous stream accomplished only 33,000. Well, we're beating Denims right now. But 45,000 concurrent viewers. I mean, we got almost 9,000, 8,500, 8,600 now. But damn, that's a lot. Denims greatly profited from her group viewing sessions of the works through advertising, revenue, donations. So what this is clear damages. So what they've established is the damages are not ambiguous. And this is required for all claims, particularly for copyright. The damages cannot be ambiguous. They have to be specifiable. They have to be able to know what amount of money was lost. And you can look, because we have analytics for every video. For all my videos, I can go to the analytics tab, and I can see exactly how much revenue that brought in. Same thing for Denims video. We can find out exactly how much money.
The fact that he brought the numbers means that now you can put money behind it. You can say, this is what he took. These are what the damages are. Yeah, it's obvious. Like, it's so obvious that I will be shocked if this actually makes it to trial and the judge just doesn't make a summary judgment as soon as he reads it. Like, I don't think that there's a good argument against any of this stuff when the numbers are so plain and factual.
That has. So all of that can be taken away with a Thanos-like snap by the court. Like most lazy reaction videos, Denims peppers her group viewing sessions with brief and sporadic observations, which can be characterized as follows. Most frequently, Denims will watch long, unadulterated portions of the works and briefly pause to give a short surface level and repetitive observation that provides little to no new information, new aesthetics, or new insights on the works. So here's what he's...
So now he's going to go after the quality of her reaction. So this is where it's open to interpretation, and the judge is going to have to watch this part and decide if this is a good enough argument against her to say, well, maybe we should let this go to trial and see what the jury thinks, or if the judge is going to, no, it's pretty obvious she wasn't adding anything. So this is the only part that I think that it would depend on the judge that she gets and how they interpret it as to whether or not the judge will pass a judgment or let it go to court. especially if she never had those live viewers and there's Reddit advertising who's doing the watch party. Yeah, it's all linked together, and they can show a history with her where she didn't have those views. She very clearly didn't have those views. He brings that up like in the document where he says like her average viewership, and she was the highest watch streamer of the three, and even her average viewership before the nuke was like, at most, I think average it ranged from like 3,000 to 5,000. Like on the high end, she might have got 5,000, and then during the nuke, she's getting almost 50,000. Whoa, yeah, like it's a substantial difference. Like you can't even say like that's just natural growth, or maybe Twitch put me on the front page, or maybe I advertised myself, or yeah, like you can't. I don't know how the fuck you play that one off with an argument that the judge will actually even humor and listen to. I think that's one of those things that's so obvious. I'll be shocked if this even makes it to trial.
Doing right. He's using a citation from a case. So he's not inventing new case law. He's saying literally, look at this case about the Andy Warhol Foundation versus Goldsmith, which is a very famous case. And this is a standard. If you provide no new information, new aesthetics, new insights, or new understanding, that is not transformative.
Yeah, Andy's already got an established precedent for it. So he can cite a case and compare what she did to what happened in that case. I don't see how this makes it to trial. I'm sorry, she's so far beyond cooked. I want to see if the lawyer brings up anything at any part in this document where he's like, okay, she's got a good defense for this. So far, nothing he's read has he been able to say, well, she can defend this by saying that he's given no defense for her, which means it's probably indefensible. I will be shocked if like, I want to see if he can come up with any defense at all, because I honestly can't. And if you can't come up with a defense, if there's no good defense for your case at all, then it probably won't even make it to court. Like the judge is just gonna throw it out.
Other times, Denims commentary has no critical bearing on style or substance.
Throw it out's the wrong term. Not throw it out as in dismiss it so it doesn't have merit, but judge on it without the need for a jury. So what he'll do is known as a summary judgment. Is he'll just go, this is so obvious, I don't need a jury to evaluate it. We already know what happened here, and I'm just going to rule on it now and save the court and the taxpayers some time and money. And that's what that means. The judge says there's no way that you can defend yourself, so we're going to go ahead and just rule now and get this out of the way.
Substance. Same case. Rather, she goes off on tangents regarding unrelated subjects or shadow boxes. Then I like this word. This is a good one. Once again, good language. Shadow boxes, demonstrably false representations of the content. Okay. A rare occasion. Now, once again, shadow boxing could be criticism. So this is something I will give a little bone here. So making what's called a straw man.
He's got something.
So a straw man is making like the weakest version of someone's argument. That's actually okay. You can straw man people's arguments. You can also steel man them, which is
steel man's better. You give the best version of their argument. That's good debate prep, is to think about the best way that someone could argue against the thing that the point you're trying to prove. So we would do this in debate club all the time, and this is part of debate prep, is you think about what are the best arguments against the thing I'm saying, and you steel man the other side and say, well, they could say this, they could say this, they could do this, and then you come up with defenses for those. You don't want to do the straw man version, because then that's going to make your argument weak. You do the steel man version. Now, when you're actually in the debate, then you do the straw man version so that the audience sees their arguments as weak and you downplay them. But when you're doing your prep, you do the steel man version, because you want the strongest version of their argument so that you can counter it.
Making the best possible case. I usually try to steel man the other side. I try to give them the best possible option. In this case, I am actually giving them the real steel man. I mean, I wasn't kidding when I said their best option is to settle. That is genuinely the truth. It is genuinely the truth.
And settle the way I said to settle. And oh my God, the comments that got on TikTok and the comments I've gotten off that short where I make my message directly to Ethan to have them settle by waiving their right to fair use. Now, I don't know if you can actually waive that right. I'll go ahead and be honest. I don't know if you actually can. I see no reason you couldn't, but it hasn't been tested yet. So anyone who says that they know you can't also doesn't know. I don't know if they can because no one's tried. Then they don't know if you can either. I, however, see no reason why you couldn't. Everything I looked up and everything I found said that you can waive any right except the rights granted to you by the 13th Amendment as part of a settlement. I specifically Googled for that. And the rights granted to you by the 13th Amendment, in case those of you don't know, that's the rights to slavery stuff. You can't give up your right to freedom and willingly become a slave. Like, you can't waive that right. You are a free man. You will forever be a free man. Unless, the only one who can take your freedom away in the United States of America is the government. You can't willingly relinquish all of your freedom and legally become a slave, and no one can legally take it away from you, except for the government when they imprison you for a crime. They're the only ones who can take your freedom away. But every other right, like I even checked, I was like, what rights can't be waived? And the only thing I ever saw mentioned was the 13th Amendment. People can waive their right to bear arms. They can waive their right to free speech so that they'll limit their speech. They can waive their right to remain silent. Like, everything else seemed to be fair game if you were willing to give it up. They can't force you to waive it, but if you will willingly waive it. And I was like, that should be how you settle. Tell them that you'll settle in exchange for them waiving their right to fair use. They probably won't take it, but I just want to see them ask it. Like, I just want to see them try. Maybe they will take it, and that'd be awesome to see that outcome, to see them still continue with their career without going bankrupt, without having any money taken away from them. And the only thing they have, to keep their career going, they've still got all their money. They've still got their channel. The only difference is now they can't react to anything. I would love to see that. I doubt they'll do it, but it doesn't hurt to put the idea out there. But people are arguing with me in the comments, and then I'm linking to all the stuff I Googled where I said, tell me where in any of this legal, if you found anything on the internet that contradicts the legal stuff that I found, and I got stuff from government websites, from law firms, etc. If you got anything that disagrees, show it to me. And they never show anything. I'm more than happy to show my work. So everything I saw said you can. So I'm going to stick to my guns there and say you can. Doesn't hurt to try. That's all I want to see him do is try. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But you don't either. We have to wait to see what a judge says and if we'll even allow it. I just want him to try.
Settle, please. But for you, but not for me. I mean, I don't want you to settle, but you should, right? But you can shadow box. And if
he wants the content, I want them to not be able to make this content anymore. I mean, obviously, it's a win-win for me. If they settle and waive their right to fair use, and that's a thing they can do, no more bullshit from them. The internet's a better place. If they don't settle, or they can't do that, and there's no reason for them to settle, and they take it all the way, we will milk this content cow dry, boys. I will be thoroughly entertained for months to come. Either way, we win.
If all you did was an hour of straw manning, that would be commentary. But you need to add enough. So on the rare occasions that that Denims does provide,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, when you're doing opinions and stuff, because everybody's like, you didn't add any substantial context. The stuff you said was wrong. I'm like, that doesn't matter. I can give an hour worth of commentary to a 30-minute video, and it can all be my opinion. It can all be my interpretation. I don't have to cite a singular source. And they could all be straw mans, they could all be bad faith arguments, etc. I could do all of that. That's still opinions. That's still valid. And that would still count as fair use. Your opinions don't have to be the right ones. You just have to be actually adding context. Just saying that's crazy chat, blah, blah. That's nothing. But constantly going, oh no, he could do that. And then just like doing the Hassan thing where you change the subject or you misinterpret things, etc., etc. It's bad commentary, but it's fair use commentary. The judge doesn't care if the commentary is bad or accurate. He just cares that it's substantial and fair use.
Brief commentary or...
I want at least a few streams of the courtroom. God, I want them to record that courtroom so bad. You're right. I want nothing but streams of the courtroom. I will stream that entire, especially since courtroom stuff like that would be public record, so it's fair use by default, I would just stream the entire thing, and we would just react to them in court in real time. God, I want them to live stream it. I don't want it to be a video. I want it live streamed. I want to be able to look at it and go, oh, here it is, boys. I want to be able to watch it live, especially since courtroom stuff is public record, so we don't have to worry about copyright there. That stuff's not copyrighted anyway, so it's all fair game.
Style or substance of the works. She spreads misinformation that is refuted later.
Plus the irony behind them going to court for doing a watch party and the court public stream is fair use, so you could literally do a watch party of the trial and it would be fine. That she's in court for doing a watch party, but everybody else gets to do a watch party on her. Oh, just the irony there. Fucking great, dude. Oh, come on. Got it.
Later by the works themselves or by most cursory level of research. On rare occasions, when she actually shows the factual basis for her claims, her statements are refuted by the cited source itself. Such misinformation fails to serve copyright's goal of enriching public knowledge. So this is a point, but this is a weaker point. So this is why he made this his C point. It's not a bull. It's not bad, but it's not A or B. His A point is really strong. B point is very strong too. This one, it's got some power, but it's not. Let's see what his D point is. Finally, Denims will even do an empty chair reaction where she goes off camera for an extended period of time while letting the video play to keep her audience entertained. So this is the weakest one out of A, B, C, D because there's no specific citation. There's no specific legal citation that says empty chair reacts are illegal.
Yeah, so this would be open to the judge's interpretation, which is what they're leaning on pretty hard with their arguments. I've read them all on the internet. I've heard them all going, where does it say you can't? Where does it say you can't? That's still adding something. Yeah, so I've seen all of those arguments, and they're not technically wrong, but let's live in reality. I don't think that this lawyer is about to agree that that could be fair use, and I don't know a judge in the world who would be engaging in good faith that would say that. That would say that this was fair use. That would say that an empty chair stream is fair use.
Now there may be.
I just don't see it happening, but he's right. There is a chance. There is a chance that it could be.
After this one, but there's no specific site. So legally it's the weakest. So literally you have your A tier argument, B tier, C tier, D tier. Isn't that cool how that works out? And Denims may even fail the D tier. Let's just say it that way. The poverty. I like this.
Yeah, that wording got me too. Okay, so I wasn't the only one who stumbled with that wording. It's such weird wording, but it is correct wording. So he's right. But even the lawyer stumbled for a minute, like, wow, did he really put poverty in there? Like the poverty. I mean, it's correct grammar. It's just you don't hear that kind of wording often. It's just weird.
Once again, good writing, entertaining writing. The poverty of Denim's commentary, coupled with her highly commercial use of the works that she specifically intended to serve as a substitute for the originals, fails to justify copying the TEI's works in their entirety. Rather, Denim's group viewing session is a quintessential example of copyright infringement, i.e. the unauthorized exploitation of TEI's works to get the attention.
So fucking
and avoid
bullshit.
the drudgery in working up something fresh. This lawsuit is to hold Denims accountable for her infringement in the H3 snark Marlets accountable for materially contributing to her infringement. This is a very strong intro, very engaging, lots of good words, clear to the point, tells you what you need to, not too long, very convincing, A+ intro. I like the intro. The intro's good.
Yeah, his lawyers are good at their job. Imagine that. And they're like, I think Ethan wrote some of this. Yeah, he's allowed to. It's his complaint. He probably told the lawyers what the complaint was and helped them word it. I mean, obviously, there's some of H3 in there. There's some of Ethan in there with the way he uses obliterated and stuff. Yeah, he probably worked with the lawyers when they wrote this. And I heard Denims complain once about the length of the complaint, too, where it's, where it's fucking 80-some pages long. And maybe she's got a little bit of an argument there. especially because it does harp on some stuff that probably could have been pulled out. You could argue could be pulled out. And the argument there is the reason that they made it so long is so it would take her lawyers longer to go over it because they're trying to bleed her dry of her money. Which, I mean, yeah, probably. But I don't think the judge is going to care about that. If everything in those 80 pages helps substantiate the argument, then their lawyers will say, yeah, it took 80 pages. You know, we started writing and it took what it took. Where she could argue, well, they wanted to make it as long as possible so that my lawyers would take longer to go over it, and that would cost me more money because lawyers get paid by the hour, and the more hours they have to spend going over this document and writing up a argument for it, the more money it's going to cost me. I don't really think the judge is going to give a shit about that, though. I mean, that's an argument on the internet. I don't think a lot of these internet arguments you see on Twitter and that these snarkers use, even if they're technically right, I don't think they actually would work in court. I mean, sure, you can go to court with that internet bullshit. Good luck. I don't think most lawyers will care about that. A lot of the stuff they bring up is petty and technicality stuff, and I think the judge will go, I mean, it was pretty informative. I'm glad that, yeah, you want your argument to be, yeah, like, I don't think it's going to matter. I just don't think it's going to matter. Plus, Ethan really has a bachelor's degree in creative writing. He does. I love when I come back to the stream like once a year and something always changes. I can't remember who you are, Viddy. Are you the one that comes to my stream once a year and your name changes? Because in which case, it sounds like we're birds of a feather, brother. Welcome back, though.
Which was very, very good. So far.
What was your name last time you were here? What was your name last time you were here? I feel like there's one viewer whose name was Samurai and then Super something and then something else. Like, I know I have at least one viewer who every time they come in my stream and talk about how they haven't seen me in a while and they're checking back in, has a different name every time they come. And you're probably Vidaville? Well, I mean, at least that's still kind of the same. But you're not the guy I'm thinking of then. Because the guy I'm thinking of, he was like Samurai something. Then he was Super something. Like, his names don't even like at least yours still has the vid in the name, so it's kind of recognizable. Like his are just something completely new every time, and it's and he's like, hey man, it's been a long time, and I'm like, I don't know who I feel like Thanos in Endgame. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I don't even. Can I check your follow age? How do I do that? I don't engage with Twitch very often. My main platform is YouTube, man. I fully expect to be banned on Twitch at some point in time. I'm honestly surprised I've lasted this long. I feel like it's been a year? Like it's been years? How do I check follower age? I clicked on your thing. Oh, following since... Okay, you've been following me since July 3rd, 2015. Okay, so you've been subscribed to me for almost 10 years, or following me for almost 10 years. And in that 10-year time span, sir, that 10 years of entertaining content and interaction that I've given you every time you've come to my stream, during that 10 years, you have been subscribed, a paying subscriber of my stream. You have supported me for 1 month. I'm just giving you shit, man. I don't care. But you can also sub. You can also sub to me on YouTube. Not sub, because sub is what they call follows over there. But you can actually become a channel member and super chat and all that stuff over there. I finally got monetization on YouTube, so I'm rather proud of myself. Anyway, we'll get back to the content here. Hell yeah, 1 month, but it was a Prime. And you can tell me you didn't even support me with your money. You did it for free, and you didn't come back to give me more of those free Prime subs? Dude, can you not afford to... You know what? You know what? All right. We're doing this. It's time for this, all right? You asked for this, brother. You asked for this. Gonna have to give you the rant. You asked for this. Okay, are you telling me that you're poor? That you can't even afford to give me a free Prime sub every month? That you're wasting it on other streamers who aren't me? Which, that hurts my feelings. But it's $5 a month! Where do you work that you can't afford $5 to support a content creator? $5 a month. If y'all don't get that meme, you should Google it. All right. We'll get back to the content now. Holy shit. You lost your job? I don't know, man. DoorDash or something. See, and if you, again, doesn't cost you anything to give me a Prime, but if you were here more often and an active member of the community, that we got a pretty big community on Discord, because it spans multiple channels, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Rumble. You could be in that Discord where everybody comes together. It's pinned at the top of chat. You should join it. And there's probably some people who could help you out. I know a few work from home places that are hiring right now. Depending on your skill set, I might could help you find a job. See? We're a community that supports each other. My DSP segment, I was actually doing the Bad Bunny meme. You guys should Google Bad Bunny $5. It's a pretty good little crash out by that streamer that became a meme. Where this girl starts complaining that nobody's subbing to her channel. Which is why I did the voice. It does, because I have to turn my PC on to just do Prime. You can do a Prime sub on mobile. You can do that now. I could have sworn you can do that now. But you know what? You only got to turn your PC on once a month. And just pop in the Discord every now and then. Become an active member of the community. And people might be able to help you find a job. If you got any skills that are usable or useful to anyone in the community on Discord, people may just pay you to do things. Are you good at art? Are you good at video editing? Are you good at, making thumbnails? I've got other content creators in there who could probably use your services. There's ways to make money. Get you a little side hustle going. Just saying. Join a community. People look out for each other. I'd take a work from home job. Do you have experience? I got 2 work from home jobs I could probably help you get right fucking now. I have a degree. So I work in the IT field. If you have a degree in some form of the IT field, whether it be networking or security or whatever, I could probably help get you a job there. The other one doesn't pay as well, but it is work from home. And if you have experience in customer service, it would be kind of a customer service answer the phone kind of job, but you get to do it from home, so you can play your Switch all day, and they'll never know, as long as you're good at talking on the phone while you're on your Switch, because that's what I did. But I did it for IT, but I got my friend a job doing the customer service side, where they call him, they give him a complaint, and on your computer screen, it literally tells you what to ask the customer to figure out where to route their call, or if there's something you can do for them customer service-wise. And it's a contracted job, so you'll be working for a company that takes contracts from other companies. So sometimes you'll get a call from Target customers who are upset. People are just glad to call and hear. Honestly, at this point, like bare minimum's all you got to do to be good at that job. People right now are just happy to call a company like Target or Walmart or Best Buy. They're happy to just call the customer service line and get someone American on the phone. They're just happy they're not being routed to a foreign country. So as long as you sound like you're from America, you just automatically win. Like, it's a crazy easy job. I can count cash really fast. An accountant job sounds like it might be up your alley. You have customer service experience, 2 years of service desk at Walmart. That could also count as customer service experience. Do I want to give you a job? I'll put the information in the Discord for anybody that wants it, so I can help you guys. The company I worked for has multiple positions open. They're almost always hiring for the customer service roles because that's the bulk of their calls, and a lot of companies use them instead of using overseas places. So they're always hiring for that role. It is like, you have to be mentally capable of handling that role, because you're going to deal with some shitty people all day. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a customer service role. You are going to deal with shitty people all day. But if you can handle shitty people and not let it get to you. But there's like a revolving door on that position, because a lot of people just eventually they can't do it anymore and they just give up. But they'll give you 40 hours a week plus overtime. Like, there's always work available, and they've got all shifts, morning, evening, and night. So it's not a hard job. Even better, you're Native American. Well, there you go. You get the diversity hire. I have a BS and CS, but it's hard. I mean, I'll put it up there. They've got more than just, this is a support. It's called support.com. So if you guys want to go check it out before I put it in the Discord, it's called support.com. They do contracts for everybody. So depending on like what position you're hiring for, like you tell them, you go there to apply for the job, you tell them what it is you're capable of doing. I was remote support, so I typically worked with businesses, not customers, because of my degree. So I was working with like IBM, like Intel, Dell. I did some for Comcast, Time Warner for their networking security. So like I did all that stuff. But if you're on the customer facing side, then you'll mostly be there's some support, like tier 1 support, tech support for customers, and that's where you're the first guy to talk to them, and you would solve the easy problems like helping some old lady reset her Wi-Fi password, stuff like that. Anything beyond that, then you just hit the escalate button and you send it to a technician who actually has a degree. That's kind of how those work, but they're always hiring. They are literally always hiring. My problem is I need places with insurance. My favorite is shitty people. They are W-2 employer. Like they are contracted from other companies, but your employment will be W-2, and a W-2 employee by law has to have insurance, especially if you're full-time. So make sure you get a full-time position. There's usually some available. And if you're a W-2 employee, you will get insurance. May not be the best insurance. That depends on like what you need, but they do by law have to offer you insurance for all full-time employees. You have a sales job right now, but it's not guaranteed money, and I can only work it morning and early afternoon. Hey, I recommend trying this. It's a work-from-home job that's always hiring for almost all shifts. If nothing else, just do 90 days because they pay you for training, and training's the easiest shit in the world, and it's the most flexible of schedules. They have training for all 3 shifts, so you just pick whichever shift matches your schedule, and they spend 90 days training you. It's 90 days of you basically doing online seminars and courses where you join a Zoom meeting with a bunch of other candidates, and this is how they weed out who can actually do the job and not. It's basically like taking an online course, and they teach you about the job and teach you how the tools work. It's real simple stuff. And then once a week, they give you a test. And if you fail any of those tests, then they let you go. So that's how they weed out the people too dumb to do the job. Most people, like 80% of the people, will make it through it. It's not hard. But you get paid for the training, and most of your time spent in there will be watching some guy teach you basic shit you already know. So you can just kind of tune out, play on your Switch, and occasionally have to answer a question when he calls on you. Like that's it. It's super simple. And it's easy money. So you can at least do the 90 days and get easy money. And then decide if you want to stay or go. Anyway, see you in another year. I tried to help you, man. I got to babysit for kids tomorrow. You know Twitch has a mobile app, and so does YouTube. You could just watch me there. In fact, my streams are often designed to be listened to and not watched, so you can put me in your pocket and listen to me like a podcast while you do other shit. A lot of people listen to me while they're at work. And occasionally, when I say something that really piques their interest, they'll whip their phone out and put a message in chat and go back to work. A lot of people listen to me like a podcast. My content is designed for that. Also, if you can't make the live streams, check out the YouTube channel. I've actually been putting effort into that YouTube channel now, and you should go watch, my vids on the YouTube channel and listen to them like podcasts, and maybe leave a comment afterward. Or at least subscribe so I can hit 1,000 subscribers and get video monetization on YouTube so I can get some of that sweet, sweet ad revenue. It'll be chump change, maybe a couple shekels once a month, but hey, getting some kind of money back for this hobby I do would be nice. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for your support, though. That's cool. I did something similar for my last customer service job. The training was only like 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, I want to say the training's at least 30 days. I think 90 days. It's been a while since I've been through it. It's been years. Unless something's changed. I thought the training was all 90 days, but the training might just be 30 days. And then the first 90 days is like your trial period. And then if you make it through the 90 days, then you get put on full time and you actually get the benefits and whatnot. So I think that it may be just like a probationary period where they're trying you out for 90 days. But you're almost guaranteed to keep the job for 90 days just because unless you royally fuck up, like show your cock on camera during a Zoom meeting or something, they're probably not going to fire you within that first 90 days because they're going to give you a chance to get your shit together and to learn the job. If after that 90 days you haven't learned the job and like figured it out, then they let you go. So Nah, I have iPhone. The fuck does that matter? YouTube and Twitch are on iPhone, bro. What are you talking about? Do they pay hourly? Some positions. Some positions are, they do have sales positions, which are commission. They do have hourly positions, and then they do have salary positions. The salary ones usually aren't hiring those, so it'll probably be hourly unless you do sales, then it'll be commission. Which I'd recommend avoiding sales, because commission-based sales jobs are always like just shit, unless you're really, really good at sales. So, anyway, we'll get back to the content now. We went on a tangent for a while, but hey, I try to help my community out. So those of you watching this on YouTube, watching the VOD, hit the subscribe button, help me get to 1,000, and be sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description. See, we help each other out there. Plus, it's filled with memes and other bullshit, and it's a fun time. There's usually someone active 24 hours a day. There's hundreds of people in there, so I'm sure you'll make some new friends, and we can share in the critique of content together. All right, anyway, back to this.
All right, legally, I like the Denims intro. Let's get into the stuff. Now, we're going to probably skim some stuff here. Obviously, jurisdiction, it's under the Copyright Act. It's under federal court. So once again, no cameras in federal court in California.
Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. He just answered our question. He just answered our question, guys. No cameras in federal court. So it's not going to be live streamed. It's not even going to be recorded. We have just been content cucked. The closest we're going to get to content on these fucking trials, because it's federal court, which I get why he did federal court. He's going for maximum punishment here, but it does cuck the content. So the best we're going to get public record wise that we can do on stream is we can read the transcripts and we can look at the, court sketch drawings, which I think those will be funny in and of themselves, but we won't get to actually watch it. But I will bring my wife on stream. We will read the court transcripts, and she will do her best white woman voice when she's reading Denims lines, and I'll fill in the spot of reading Ethan and his lawyer's lines, so that you can at least kind of get the courtroom experience while we read these transcripts. I'll try to make it entertaining. But yeah, we're not going to be able to actually watch video of the court trial. It's just going to be transcripts. Fuck. We got content cucked, boys.
And the venue is obviously the Central Court in California. So TEI is a California corp.
You've done 5 days of your new sales job and made one sale so far. I mean, what's the sales job? Depending on what the sales job is, one sale could be a huge deal, or it could be kind of shit. It depends on what you're selling. Like if you're a real estate agent or car salesman, that one sale, like getting one sale a month, will pay your bills. I mean, if your commission is, let's just say it's 10%. If your commission is 10% on a, $40,000 vehicle and you're selling cars, well, that's $4,000 a month and you only had to sell one car. So car salesmen can get paid very well depending on their commission rate and how many cars they're able to sell. It's the same thing with real estate agents. If a real estate agent can sell one house in a month and that one house costs $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $800,000, and they get 5 or 10%, that's a good amount of money, and they only had to sell one house. Now, if your sales job is selling fucking vacuum cleaners, and you only sold one fucking vacuum cleaner, then you might want to look for another career. But if you've only had it a week, most sales jobs do a probationary period where they give you a normal hourly rate for X amount of time while you acclimate to the sales job, and then after a certain time, your hourly rate drops, but your commission rate will go up. So most of them will do like, hey, we'll give you $15 an hour for 60 days or 90 days or whatever it is, but you only get a commission rate of 2%. And that's to get you started, so that if you don't make sales, it's okay. You can still pay your bills while you learn how to sell their product. And then after that, 60 days, 90 days, or whatever it is, then they'll go, okay, your hourly rate's dropping to $7, $8 an hour, whatever the legal minimum is. But if you can sell stuff, you now have a commission rate of 10, 15, 20% or whatever it is. So it all depends. Like sales jobs all depend. Because one sale could be really bad, one sale might be pretty decent. Selling credit card terminals to small businesses. They have lifetime residuals on the sale, so it could be decent. Also, they don't pay hourly, but they do give $50 per year they do give $50 per presentation. So just being able to get someone to sign up for a presentation, that sounds like a hard job though, because we live in a world now where small businesses can turn their fucking iPad into a credit card reader. I can't count the number of like businesses that do that. Like we'll go to one of the school's event for my kids, like a field day or something, or their multicultural day, and then they'll have all these food trucks up that serve food from all around the world. So you'll have like a taco truck, a truck that does kebabs, a truck that does gyros, and stuff from blah blah blah. And every time I go up to one of those food trucks or something, every time I go to one of those local businesses that they're trying to support during one of these events, they always just hand me an iPad with one of those little square readers at the bottom. Some of them don't even get the reader; they just hand me an iPad and do the tap to pay thing, because most cards even have the little Wi-Fi chip in them now, so you can just tap the card itself to the screen to get paid. So yeah, selling actual terminals sounds like it'd be rough. Technology's working against you on that job. It's not like people need those terminals anymore. They help, but businesses don't technically need them anymore. Most businesses don't want to listen. It's a decent job to have on the side. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a full-time job. Not unless they've got you selling something other than that. Because that sounds like it would be a hard sell. Like, I can't believe there's people still selling those, honestly. That sounds like it'd be something hard to sell. Kind of like being a door-to-door vacuum sales cleaner, or a door-to-door, salesman for vacuum cleaners in 2025. Like, that was a thing in the 70s, like, doing that in 2025. I'm like, yeah, but they can just buy a vacuum cleaner from Amazon now. Like, what the fuck do they need a vacuum cleaner demonstration for? You can go to the fucking grocery store or Walmart and rent a rug doctor for a night if you just really got a bad stain. Like, I don't see why people would need one of these big, fancy, water-powered vacuum cleaners like a Rainbow or something. I remember that. My uncle used to sell those back when I was a kid. It was like the 80s, late 80s. He was still selling those, and he was having trouble selling those then. He was a Rainbow vacuum salesman, and he'd go do those demonstration for Rainbow vacuum cleaners. And I was like, holy shit. So, but that was back in like the late 80s, early 90s, and he had trouble selling them then. I don't know how you'd sell those in like 2025, but from what I understand, that's still a thing. That's still a job that people do. People do still, Rainbow vacuum cleaners does still use I don't know if they use door-to-door salesmen, or if people have to like schedule a presentation. What is up with my aim assist? It feels like it's just not sticking to these people at all. I'm getting my ass handed to me by NPCs right now. All right, there we go. Anyway, yeah, most businesses don't want to. Oh, okay.
Ration based in LA, which it produces on YouTube. Denims is an online streamer who releases content on Twitch and resides in Van Nuys. Shout out to Van Nuys, California.
He just read out loud where she's from. Again, we read it all too. It's not doxing. They're going to scream that a lawyer just tried to dox him and blah, blah, blah. Again, internet bullshit kind of arguments that the judge isn't going to care about. And they're going to be like, yeah, it's in the legal paperwork, sweetie. It's fine. Yeah, like the judges ain't going to listen to that bullshit.
Been there a time or two and not back in the last 15 years. But yeah, sure. The H3 Snark mods are comprised of Does 1 through 10. Their true names and exact nations are not presently known. So they are going to become known. The mods are all going to become known.
So he thinks they can get subpoenaed. He's just outright saying it. He thinks he's got a good job of getting them subpoenaed, which I would argue is, again, if not the main reason for this, a big reason for this.
This is where they should be really, really scared.
Oh, the Snark mods are panicking. They are scared. I know it's hard to tell if the content creators are scared because Denim says so much dumb shit on stream. You can't tell if she's scared or if reality hadn't set in for her yet. We do know the exact moment that reality set in for Caseytron because she cried on stream like she just straight up lost it. And it's like, oh, fuck, we're watching her realize this shit in real time. And it was glorious.
So also in the chat, someone says, isn't this doxing? This is a publicly...
There we go. Somebody in his chat said it. He's got snarkers in his chat.
Available document, right? A publicly available...
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Also in the chat, someone says, isn't this doxing?
Say it one more time.
This is a publicly available document.
Thank you.
Right? a publicly available court filing, right? So
Not
no. The answer is
doxing.
No.
No. Not doxing.
Okay. Let me go here. Doe1 is female, the founder of the Reddit and one of the Snark mods. She used to go under the Reddit name Ozempic Dealer, while Doe1 subsequently deleted. Her last post was in February 25. Doe1 used the Discord handle Yogi Bearx and the screen name Paris Hilton. Doe2 is a female, resides in Canada, and head of the moderators. She is under the uname H3 Snark Mod Team 2, Roman P, and Right Salamander, and uses the
God, he's really going over all of it. This was the part I wanted to see him do the most, was H3 Snark stuff. Oh, boy. Because these guys are panicking, and it's glorious. Oh, I love seeing it. You love to fucking see it. You can't hide behind your little internet tough guy bullshit anymore.
Name Doe number 2. And then she's got all these other names, such as Kitchen Mukbang Star. Interesting.
I know, you just gotta realize the judge is gonna have to read these out loud and probably laugh at them and be like, really? We're taking, like, these are the people? Like, this is what they're doing and they want to be taken seriously? Oh, man. It just makes the Snark mods look so... There's no way he doesn't get a subpoena for them. They should be shitting their pants now.
3 is another head mod, and he goes by the name Sarah Horn Jewitz, which has been publicly deleted after deleting Doe number 3 using a Reddit username Jewitz Sarah Horn, or Jewitz Sarah Horn. Number 5 is on Discord as Roz Whalem, and number 5 is a male by the name of Tony. In Discord, he's from Pooh. And Doe number 6 is H3 Snark Mod, no reception. And Doe 7 through 8 are the remaining H3 mods. So they don't have the full information on those yet, but they will. TI was founded in 2016 by Ethan and Hila Klein. The Kleins rose to prominence on YouTube for through channels H3 and Ethan and Hila. The Kleins created highly stylized reaction videos to other YouTube videos. The Kleins' reaction videos are interspersed with relatively short segments of original video and long segments of commentary. So what they are doing is saying our commentary is legit, and it's different than your commentary. So the Kleins,
they've already set the stage at the beginning of this that we know for a fact that the commentary we do, because that would be the argument, is how do you know what you do is any better than what she does, or what's the difference between what you're doing and what they're doing? And that's always going to be the argument. But remember, they set the stage at the beginning of this that they know for a fact that what they're doing, that their commentary is legal and fair use, because they were the ones who had a court case about their commentary already, and it set the precedent that we're working on for this case. So the judge doesn't have to wonder whether or not, well, is what you're doing that different? There's already been a ruling on his content, and it is different. So you can't even argue that his content isn't fair use compared to theirs anymore, because a judge ruled on his and says it is. Now there's a judge ruling on yours. This ain't about me.
Inception level are using their own case law that they created on YouTube, using their own case law in a new lawsuit to create new case law. This is legal inception, which makes it fascinating. Fascinating to me. In 2016, the Kleins were sued for copyright infringement. So now they're citing their own case.
Yep, they cite their own case.
Crazy. Kleins were...
Do we even know of a case where that's ever been done before? Or a person cites their own case because now they're taking someone to court for the same thing they were taken to court for? Like, this might be a first. I can't think of a single other case, like famous case, where that's happened.
Sued for copyright infringement, defamation, misrepresentation under 17 U.S.C. 512 by Matt Hosendaya, a.k.a. the Bold Guy, Matt Haas. The copyright claim concerned a reaction uploaded to Ethan and Hila. The video entitled The Big, the Bold, the Beautiful was critical and humorous reaction to Matt's video, Bold Guys versus Parkour Girl. As the court explained, the Klein video opens with commentary and discussion between Ethan and Hila Klein, followed by segments of the Haas video, which then play, stop, and continue to comment and criticize. The Klein video, which is almost 14 minutes long, intersperses relatively short segments of the Haas video with long segments of commentary, ultimately using 3 minutes and 50 seconds of the 5-minute and 24-second long Haas
so he
video.
didn't even use a full
The
5-minute
Klein video is harshly critical of the Haas video, and it involves mockery of the performance and what the Kleins consider unrealistic dialogue and plotline. So there's a lot of fair use elements in there. In addition, defendant's commentary refers to the Haas video as quasi-pornographic and reminiscent of cringe tube genre, also known for cringeworthy sexual content. As critical as it is, the Klein video is roughly equivalent to the kind of commentary and criticism of a creative work that might occur in a film studies class. So they're saying clearly fair use because there's already case law on film studies class.
They had good lawyers for
summary judgment
that case,
for the Kleins. So summary judgment, just so you guys understand.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Summary judgment. This is why I doubt Denims will even get to court. But we're going to find out now if a lawyer will agree with me, if he thinks that it'll make it to court or if summary judgment is where it's going to end. I think summary judgment is a very good possibility for Denims and their lawsuits. I would be shocked if they actually make it to court and they just don't get a summary judgment.
Educational moment here, guys. Legal Mindset educating you. The procedure in a court generally goes, in a civil case, motion to dismiss. That's whether or not there's a meritorious claim.
Right.
So does the claim have merit? That's first. If it's vexing.
Which is why I corrected myself when I said the judge would throw it out, because he's not going to dismiss it. I think that the claim has merit, and instead he'll do a summary judgment. I'm like 90% positive, but I'm not a lawyer. I want to see if the lawyer agrees with me, but I'm like 90% positive that the judge is probably going to give a summary judgment. I don't see a good chance of this actually even going to court.
Which is the big word Hassan used, which he doesn't understand, then it gets thrown out at motion to dismiss. Spoiler, this won't. So motion to dismiss,
okay.
Discovery, summary judgment, then trial, and then the final verdict and ruling.
Yeah.
Right? So summary judgment is before trial.
Right.
And if you have a just open and shut case, you're just going to win. It's clear.
Yep.
Summary judgment will end it before trial.
Yep.
So if you are a defendant, it is very good to try to go for summary judgment and win because you never have to go to trial. You just win outright. And plaintiffs can go for summary judgment too if you have an open and shut case.
Right.
And summary judgment isn't ruled on by the jury. It's
ruled
ruled
on
on by the judge.
Yep.
So I know there was a super chat earlier saying, is a judge or a jury going to rule on this? Well,
could be
they
either
demand
or.
a jury trial. However, a judge could grant summary judgment for the Kleins. And this is a case where I think there is a good possibility the Kleins could get summary judgment.
Boom! Did I nail it or did I fucking nail it? All right, I feel vindicated now. The fucking lawyer agrees with me.
It could be so obvious that the Kleins get summary judgment. They don't even need a trial because it's such a killer case. So this is where I think they really got to sweat. The jury might not even save them. Just instant. Boom. Summary judgment. You're done.
Yes. Yes, that's what I think will happen. Okay, we're on the same page.
The H3 podcast channel on YouTube. And TEI produced podcast episodes that were less structured reaction than the reaction videos the Kleins previously made. To ensure that any use of unlicensed copyright qualified as fair use, TI formulated and refined best practices, which included, whenever feasible, pre-screening the original work and outlining criticism and commentary before. 2, ensuring the commentary was directly related to the style and substance of the original work. 3, only broadcasting the portion of the original that is subject to critique. Very good. Not the entire thing. 4, pausing the original work frequently to provide critique.
Yep.
And 5, ensuring the duration of commentary was substantially longer than the portion of the original show immediately before. So I don't think you need to do all of those things, but that's what we would call belt and suspenders. Belt and suspenders in the legal world.
Yeah, he's putting as many stuff as he can behind it to make it rock solid. He's building a good foundation. I mean, belt and suspenders, I guess, is a good analogy, but who the fuck wears suspenders anymore? It's not fucking 1920. It's an old reference. I mean, I get it, but it's still an old reference.
World is when you do over and above to protect yourself. Your pants aren't going to fall down if you're properly wearing a belt and suspenders. The pants are going to stay up. You're never going to be caught with your pants down. But I think if you just do one of those things, that can often be enough. So, for example, if you're just looking at a small part of the content, not the whole thing, that might be enough. and you're providing at least a baseline level of analysis. That probably is enough. That probably is enough. Denims, the alt-left's answer to Kellyanne Conway. Denim LARPs as a revolutionary LARP. I love live action role play. And the fact.
Oh, God. Oh, this was such a fun read. I know court documents sound boring, but man, are these a fun read.
They had to special that out, but LARPing is just so funny. LARPing is so funny. As a revolutionary from the comfort of her bedroom in California, I will say, okay, should I make a political should I say
avoid politics, just keep it about the case, because that's what I did. Fuck the politics. You keep it about the case.
Say this is probably going to get me some salt here, but I do find a little bit of irony with if you've got $1 million house and you're talking about income inequality. But anyways, she is a prolific purveyor of misinformation and speaks with great confidence on topics where her knowledge leaves much to be desired. Denims repeatedly inserts herself into public controversies by employing poor judgment, knee-jerk contrarianism, and a consistent impulse to defend the indefensible. Includes copyright infringement, terrorism, and extremism. And once again, I don't want to get into the truth of this and whatever, like side comments aside, like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think he's going to probably be a little more critical of Ethan when he gets to the part about them, them diving into the politics of it and whether or not he was right about Hamas and this and that and all the Middle East. I don't think the judge is going to care that much about it. But I see why it's included, because you're trying to display the claim that you just made, that she's oftentimes given feedback and given criticism on things that she's not educated about. So he's doing that to prove her wrong and to show her lack of education. But I'm not sure how the judge is going to take it, because he does get a little in the weeds with it. When we read it, I was like, man, this sounds a little in the weeds here.
Care what she supports or whatever else. I'm focusing on the law. Denims is one of the most loyal and ardent.
I feel like a judge will feel the same way. Like, I mean, she's entitled to her opinion and to support which side. Because honestly, like, I get that he's trying to make a factual basis about the Israel and Hamas thing, or the Israel-Palestine thing and Hamas and blah blah blah. But honestly, like, it's okay to support either side. No side is technically right. So you want to stay about the law and you want to keep it about that, then the judge may not care about that stuff as much. It does its job of proving that she's misinformed, but you're allowed to be misinformed, though. You're allowed to have bad opinions. Shit! Don't mind me.
Defenders of Hassan Piker, a.k.a. Hassan Abi Hassan. So obviously, we can see who's Big Daddy. Big Daddy is Hassan. He is the, oh gosh. He is like the Jim Jones. He's the Jim Jones here. And it's like going after the cultists, not the cult leader. Right?
Yep.
By the way, people brought up the thing, Champagne Socialist. Yeah.
See, he does think he's a cult. Hassan is a cult, confirmed by lawyer. Right now we're going after the cultist and not the cult leader. But definitely a cult. Oh, damn it. That's the NPC. Fuck.
It's always just, it's kind of funny. The champagne socialism is funny to me. It's like a laugh thing. It's a giggle thing. Much like
it's funny because it's true.
Scientologists engage in fair game. I like the comparison to Scientology. Denims ruthlessly attacks with reckless abandon anyone who disagrees with her or Hassan. She parrots Hassan's style, rhetoric, and content strategy, regularly streaming React content with minimal transformative or commentary. As such, she has assumed a leading role in Hassan's waiting room, a collection of streamers who culturally follow Hassan and parasitically leech off his audience by streaming before him or after him. On November 17, 2023, in a now deleted video, Denims read Osama bin Laden's letter to America.
That's going to make her look so bad. The fact that you're reading Osama bin Laden's thing. There's no one in America who's not going to agree that he was the bad guy. Like, you're allowed to be on either side when things are up in the air and you go, is Israel right? Is Palestine right? Yeah, when you're talking about foreign countries, and the judge may go, okay, well, you're entitled to your opinion. Like, the Middle East has been fighting for a long time. There's no clear good guy on either side. No one is going to agree with you that Osama bin Laden was on the right side. Everyone in America knows he was the bad guy. Everyone knows that.
And
there's not a judge in the country who is going to be sympathetic to you for reading Osama bin Laden's letter to America like he's the fucking, we had some good arguments. Never gonna happen. Never gonna fucking happen.
already on stream. She frequently expressed agreement and support for the letter, such as America deserved 9/11. I can't disavow facts, man. I can't disavow reality. That's not how works. That's not how that works, bro. Yeah, that's a hell of a look. That's a hell of a look. I'll just say that.
Yeah. There's no judge
Denims,
in the world who's going to agree with you on that.
Why do they
one.
attack us in New York and Washington? If Ariel Sharon is a man of peace in the eyes of George Bush, then we are also a man of peace. America does not understand the language or manner of manners and principles. So we are addressing it using a language it understands. Denims responds. He is not wrong about that.
Let's fucking go, W's in chat, boys. Ethan's going to win this lawsuit, and I'll just win this victory royale. Woo! Let's fucking go. I told you I'd get one tonight. This document's got me amped.
That the U.S. only understands violence. Bin Laden's criticisms of the United States are all correct. Interesting.
I forgot that part. They're all correct. Oh my god, this judge is gonna throw the fucking book at this bitch.
Interesting. That I'm sure a judge and jury are going to love that. Despite Twitch's prohibition on terrorist propaganda, Twitch gave Denims a slap on the wrist by banning her for a day.
This also might accidentally rope Twitch in if the judge is like, okay, well, if they've got terms of service and they're allowing some, that could bring Twitch. That could rope Twitch into discrimination if they can prove that Twitch is showing favoritism towards certain employees. You could then argue discrimination against Twitch. So Twitch may have a case coming their way too, just from the state, not from Ethan, but from the state. Because the state, if you're exposing that Twitch is violating discrimination laws with their terms of service and with the practices on their platform, the state itself or the federal government itself may go, that's not allowed. I didn't even catch that at the time, but that's a possibility. Hassan kept calling this guy a pro-Ethan lawyer. I mean, you can talk all the cope you want. I mean, but none of that shit's gonna show up in court. Like, it's a hell of a claim to make, but if they were to try to use that defense in court and say, well, he's an Ethan fan, he's a pro-Ethan. Okay, well, you're making a positive claim. Now you have to substantiate it with proof. You have to prove. Because if you want to go that route and argue that we need a different judge because this judge is biased, then you have to prove the judge is biased somehow. And if everything he's agreeing with Ethan on is stuff that's legally sound, and no other judge, like, you'd have to get another judge to rule on that and to be, or, to argue that and say, well, this judge is obviously, making decisions based on bias. But if all of his decisions would hold up, and that wouldn't even matter, like, if you get the jury trial, it wouldn't even matter if the judge was pro-Ethan or not. The jury's making the decision. So it's all just cope. It's all just cope. All lawyers hate women. What about the lawyer from Futurama? Single female lawyer. She ate women too?
By the way, while this stuff may not be all legally relevant, once again, judges...
I'm going to see if I can predict what he's going to say, and I think it's that it's serving the greater purpose of proving that she's uneducated on the topic she's making critiques on, which, again, may or may not matter, but you're putting that in there to substantiate the claim you made earlier that her commentary doesn't add value because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. So that's what you're trying to prove here. And that she gets away with it. She gets away with her blatant, misrepresentation of facts because Twitch allows her to do so.
Judges and juries are humans.
Yep.
And they have human emotions. And
thank you.
These things definitely lean on those switches, right? They definitely lean on that. And while they may be irrelevant, the judge may or maybe not that relevant to the copyright part yet, they're very relevant to painting a character. They're very relevant to painting a character. It's not a good look because people are human reading this. This is not robots. Right? On December 12th, 2022, Denims responded to the December 8th, 2020 video of June Nicole Lempine, aka Shoe on Head. Shoe cited.
Yeah, because even though they're not supposed to be biased and they're only supposed to read the law, it's a bad look to go into a courtroom up against an American judge when you look like an enemy of the state, when you look like someone who hates America. That's going to strike a nerve with anybody who lives in America, with most people who live in America, not your online people, but most normal people are going to feel some kind of way about trying to call someone who supported bin Laden and said America deserves 9/11 innocent. All of these build the foundation that they're not, it's rock solid. Like, people are going to have a reaction to it. Good luck finding a non-biased jury of 12 people who are anti-America. Like, I get that that's a thing in Hassan's community online, and the whole thing is America bad. But good luck finding 12 jury members of random citizens out in the wild who also go America bad, to the degree that they do, where they agree with bin Laden. Good fucking luck.
Shoe cited, which criticized Balenciaga's advertising campaign that depicted minors and highly sexualized BDSM, rather than acknowledge the widespread concern. Denims took the absurdly grotesque position of defending Balenciaga's ad campaign and attempting to paint Shoe on Head as a homophobe, despite Shoe on Head not mentioning homosexuality whatever. So, a lot of citations. Denims' involvement in the public controversy known as ReactGate provides great insight into her willful disregard for copyright. In early 2022, Hassan and Denims, along with several other Twitch streamers,
showing that she doesn't have any respect for the law she's broken, that'll go a long way towards a judge and a jury. Juries tend to be more sympathetic for you and listen to your defense if they think you're remorseful of your crime or you made a mistake. If they think that you don't care about the law and that you'll do it again, they don't care about punishing you.
Received intense criticism for conducting group viewing sessions of third-party copyrighted content without permission. In these group viewing sessions, streamers like Hassan and Denims would watch entire copyrighted work with little to no commentary, sometimes even letting the video play while they were not present or while the streamer was sleeping. The controversy reached a fever pitch when these group viewing sessions included mainstream TV and this is where you FAFO.
Yep, this is where you fuck around and find out. I'll say it for you, lawyer. You fuck around and find out when the judge thinks that you don't have respect for copyright law when it comes to clearly copyrighted works that everyone should already know you're not allowed to copy and reproduce. Things like movies and TV shows. That one's not up for debate at all. They give you the warning before the thing, like, everyone knows you don't do this.
When you start messing with film, Hollywood has the lawyers to come for you. And this is where you go too far, right? And this is where you get in trouble, when you start messing with people with money.
Yep.
And they mess with the clients who have money.
Which is Ethan's entire argument for why he's doing this, is he would rather set the precedent with, YouTuber versus YouTuber, basically, or content creator versus content creator, than have where it can be specific and you can set the guidelines, versus Disney or Sony or Netflix or somebody coming in and going, no, all of it's bad, and we're just going to sue all of YouTube, or we're going to sue all of Twitch. So that, what do we want to settle with Twitch or YouTube and end this? Because they're both big companies that got just enough money to keep it going as long as needed. What do we want to end this and make it go away? We want reaction content to be against your terms of service. It may not be against the law, but we'll settle if you make it against your terms of service. And then you can't react to anything on any platform ever. No one can. And that's obviously not what any of us would want to happen, for fair use to just die, because even though it's not illegal, it's now against TOS. We don't want fair use to be against TOS, and that is definitely the outcome that, like, Disney or Sony or one of these companies would go for if they were going to make those arguments, if they were going to do these cases.
Which is where they messed up, right? The online content creator known as JXC released a video entitled Hassan Piker Jinx in the Issue of Reaction Content. In the video, Jay drew a distinction between reaction videos that provide substantial critique and lazy reaction videos that are group viewing sessions. In particular, Jay focused on the group viewing sessions, including his poverty of commentary and penchant for doing an
There's that phrase again.
empty chair reaction, where he lets the video play while he's completely off screen. That's insane.
Woo!
His failure to credit the author of the original video and link. This is also crazy. Even to verbally, like at least verbally say, go watch the video on this channel. At least verbally say that.
Yeah, like if you did at least that part, you'd have an argument, but they didn't even do that.
I mean, you should. You should verbally say that, at a minimum. I don't always agree you have to post the link, because imagine if you watch like a million clips, it always is hard to post all the links. I don't think you always have to post a link. However, you should verbally give a shout out. Like, hey, shout out, go watch it.
You should at least say who you should cite your source. Yeah, like it should just be a thing that you have to cite your source. That's all you're doing there is citing your source. Even the news will do that when they use clips. They'll put the little blurb in the corner. They won't even verbally say it. They'll just put the text on screen, a source Associated Press or source YouTube, blah blah blah. Yeah, like everyone knows to do this. And the fact that they didn't even do that, I would argue that's bare fucking minimum. The fact that they wouldn't even do the bare minimum shows the malicious intent.
Them on this channel. Like, at least say it verbally, at minimum. I think it's a minimum. In a now deleted response video, Denims defended the unauthorized use of copyrighted content by asserting that viewers prefer watching streamers over upload.
This is also going to make her look really bad.
Over original uploads, particularly when the material is curated. She claimed that established fair use standards are irrelevant to live streaming.
I'm surprised I've heard no one make the argument, and maybe he'll make it here. But the argument, and this is what lawyers, Ethan's lawyers need to say in court or something as part of their argument to expand upon this, is that she adds no value by being a quote-unquote curator on Twitch, because Twitch already, YouTube already has a mechanism that creators can use to act as a curator for their audience without stealing views from the original. And that mechanism is the YouTube playlist feature. Any creator can fill, or any user on YouTube can fill a playlist with videos from other creators. It doesn't have to be just your stuff. Like, you can fill a playlist with anything, and then you can share your playlist of your favorite YouTube videos with anybody, and it'll just play that playlist. So everybody can have that curated content and watch it at their leisure in the order you put it in. So you can make your own playlist and share it, and people can just click on your link and watch all the videos you want them to watch in the order you want them to watch it from the original creators on YouTube without taking views away from those creators. That's all you would have to do. So that argument doesn't hold water either. What's up, guy? Welcome back to the stream, my friend. I know it's been a while since I've had a good stream like this going. It has been I'll take a quick break from the content here to tell you guys that it has been a rough week. It has been specifically a rough day today. I made posts about it. I don't know if anybody saw the post. It's in my Discord, and it's up there. But a good chunk of my income is now gone because we were outdoor dashing today, and we got hit by an Amazon truck. Everybody's okay, nobody got hurt, but the car, that brand new car that I had bought a couple months ago, that I've only made a few payments on, is now totaled. So I have no vehicle right now. No vehicle means no DoorDash. And no DoorDash means no extra money. And at this point, DoorDash wasn't... God damn it. I need to get up there. Oh my God, why did they put these here? What is this? Why? Why are these here? He vaults over it. How am I supposed to get up there? I literally can't grab those. Oh, that sucks so much. I didn't really need them. I just can't believe they put that there. Anyway, it's a pretty substantial source of my income at this point, because DoorDash in my area is really lucrative, like more so than I thought it would be. As I started doing the math, And on average, I can get around $30 an hour door dashing for a few hours a night, which is pretty good. Oh, fuck, I hit the wrong button. Which is pretty good. You're supposed to zip line into the barrels? Yeah, but the zip line stops at the other one. What, am I supposed to come from the ground up? I don't know, it's weird. Okay. But DoorDash was a substantial part of my income. It had become like a third of my income at this point, simply because I could make so much doing it for so little time. Like $30 an hour, and doing that for 20 hours a week. You know, that's as much as, you know, some people are getting at their full-time job. Like, and I'm still working on my job. So I was making pretty good money doing it. And now I don't have that money anymore, and I'd made it part of my budget now. So now I got to find a way to try to make up for it while we hopefully get another car. Oh, I can't believe that won't fit. While we hopefully try to get another car. I don't know how long. I imagine Amazon. Oh my God. I imagine I'm Austin Powersing this right now. I imagine Amazon has a good process for handling this, because I imagine that their trucks get into accidents all the time, given the sheer amount of deliveries that they do and the sheer amount of like trucks they have making deliveries nationwide. So this is probably a multiple times a day occurrence for them as a company. They probably have an entire department dedicated just to handling this kind of thing. So I'm hoping that means that it'll go a lot smoother, and I'll possibly get a better payout through this than I would if I got hit by, you know, John Doe and his, you know, Geico insurance that doesn't want to pay. So I'm hoping that'll play to my benefit. We'll see. We filed the claim today, but of course the offices are closed. It's Sunday. So we got to wait to hear back from them tomorrow, and I got to try to figure out like what I got to do to get a new car, because this one's only got 3 payments on it. So I'm hoping they'll pay it off and you know, help me into a new car so I can get back to door dashing. If not, I got to find some other way to make that money while I figure this out. But we're looking at probably 2 to 3 weeks with no vehicle now while we figure this the fuck out. Because again, I've only had it for like 3 months, so the part of my insurance that gives me a rental car hadn't even kicked in yet. So Progressive won't even give me a rental car because I haven't had insurance with them long enough to get a rental car. I mean, I do a full coverage, but god damn. Like, it's just, I feel like this couldn't have happened at a worse time. I'm getting like kind of fucked on this. Oh my god. Dude, I'm shooting everything but the guy. Oh my god. I hate the spread on Fortnite's guns. I shoot like a fucking stormtrooper. Holy shit. Anyway, yeah, so you may end up with longer streams, and we may be grinding away at streaming a lot longer now that I can't go door dashing, because I got to do something to get this money. Am I going to get $30 an hour streaming? Probably fucking not. But hey, if I can get a little something, every little bit will help out, because I have no idea, like, what kind of car I'm going to be able to get into, or if I'm going to have to put a down payment, or like what this is going to look like. I'm pissed but not pissed, because it is what it is. I'm trying not to let it get to me. And it's Amazon, so maybe they'll just pay for it. But it sucks so bad, dude. It sucks so bad. Amazon better replace that shit. They fucking better, man. But I also wouldn't be surprised if there was some technicality or some reason that they'll pay me for the value of the car. And, oh, you drove the car off the lot, it dropped $10,000 in value, so you'll have to make payments on a car you can't drive anymore, or some bullshit like that. I swear to God if that's what happens. I'll just stop paying the payments. Just fuck it. Ruin my credit then. I don't fucking care. What are you going to do? Repossess the car that's in pieces? Go ahead. I don't fucking give a shit. And then I'll just go buy something else, because I got to have a car. And I'm not going to make 2 car payments for a car that's broken because Amazon didn't, or insurance wouldn't pay for all of it, or some bullshit. Like, I can just see this going wrong, and I'm really hoping it doesn't. Anyway, back to this legal bullshit.
And need not be transformative for commentary and editing. Now, this is going to really piss off the judge, because to say that fair use is irrelevant is
yeah, the last thing you want to do is be quoted to a judge saying that you think laws are irrelevant and you get to pick and choose which ones you obey. As if there wasn't already enough stuff in this opening statement to make the judge not like Denims, or to make the jury not like Denims. This is icing on the cake right here. Nail in the coffin, whatever you want to call it. This is a very bad look. As if the other stuff wasn't already bad. This is also bad.
Completely irrelevant, and that live streaming and Twitch content is immune from fair use is going to come off as pure effing hubris.
Yep. Your Honor, it's fine that I robbed this bank. Okay? This is a corporate bank, not a consumer bank. What does it matter if I'm robbing from Wall Street bankers? Doing some shit like that. Like, this should be immune. Or it doesn't matter if I rape. This is a whorehouse. Like, within the confines of this house, rape should just be legal. They're whores. It's a brothel. Who cares? Yeah, like, that's not how the law works, sweetheart. You don't get to, like, be immune to the law because you did it in a certain place.
It is pure hubris to think that live streamers are immune from criticism, and that because you are a live streamer, the law suddenly doesn't apply to you. You are absolutely insane, and that point will never be accepted by the court. The court will never accept that fair use does not apply to streaming. That's insane. Now, what they might say is that if live streamers do X, Y, Z, they can get out of it. They can, there's an exception here.
Yeah, there's going to be stipulations to make. Like, you can't make an exception without the exception having stipulations. And I can't think of a single stipulation that the judge would give that they qualify for, because they've actively acted as a market replacement. They actively said they were stealing views. Like, they've already done all of the bad things that would make them ineligible for the stipulations anyway.
Here, but they're not going to say live streaming point blank is immune. That's crazy. That is insane. And the fact that she said that shows she's a complete. I mean, that statement is pure idiocy and has no basis.
It's arrogant because she thinks she's untouchable. I think she knows it's false, but she's saying it in anyway because she doesn't think that there'll ever be a repercussion for that action.
Or really even rationality. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Rather, Denims claim to be a streamer's personality alone can justify unauthorized rebroadcast of the copyright. So saying...
And we all know what Denims means when she says personality. We all know what Denims means when she says personality. My personality alone makes this transformative. Look, everything's more entertaining to watch when my personality's on full display in the corner of the screen, right, guys? Yeah, I don't think the judge is going to agree, sweetheart. Good luck with that shit.
Your personality. So Denims, and her unique personality is so special. Denims is such a unicorn. She is such a unicorn, ladies and gentlemen, that the law doesn't apply to her. And I know that on Twitch this word is banned, but I'm going to say it.
Do it!
I know some of her simps
Yes!
are going to agree with this. And I saw some of her simps are going to say, yes, queen.
We've seen her personalities. Look at them. They transform everything she does. I could watch anything with those in the corner. You don't know what you're talking about, law tuber. You law slop tuber. Good fucking luck in a court of law. Bring this shit to court, please. This transcript's going to be so fun to read.
Denims is above all. She's Princess Butterfly of the universe. And she can do whatever she wants. But
God, I really wish he would have said Princess Butterface. I thought that's what he was going to say. And I was like, I mean, kind of. She's not my type, but she's not ugly. Just, okay. Princess Butterface would have been hilarious to hear coming out of a lawyer's mouth.
in the reality, not the simp verse, that is not real. Personality does not get you out of fair use. On February 6, 2025, Denims and JXE conducted a debate about the propriety of group viewing sessions that was moderated by the online content creator Chud Logic.
Judge Logic gets a call out in the document too. I remember this. This is so good. Oh, I can't wait to watch Chud's reaction to this video when he realizes he was in the document, that he got a shout out. All right, back to it.
Debate video. Chud Logic shout out. During the debate, Denims made several damning statements about her personal perception on the unauthorized use of copyright content. Most notably, she said early in the debate that she acknowledges she used third-party content as filler and siphons views away from the original.
Oh man, this fucking debate she was in, just, I can't think of anything more damning. This is the particular reason why I think she's the most cooked of the three. Yeah, all of the three had terrible things to say that implicated them, but Denims, with this interview, with this fucking debate, went above and beyond.
Original.
To a comical degree. Like, I can't see a judge taking any of this seriously and not laughing her out of the courtroom.
So she admits that she's infringing. I just want to be clear on my opinion on like filler content and stuff. Like,
let me be clear. I'm breaking the law right now. I did it, and I'll do it again. And here's why. Yeah, that's basically what she did. That was her defense. There truly is the queen of self-own.
I think filler content, you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a React streamer, so she's confessing to the crime.
Yep.
She's literally self-reporting. And I do it only with Vox videos or Vice videos and stuff like that, because I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator like a whole team.
And justifying her breaking of the law. I know, Your Honor, I know I stole this loaf of bread, but it was to feed my children. Guess what? The law don't give a shit. The law don't give a shit. Did you have a good reason to steal? They may be somewhat sympathetic for you. Your kids are starving. You're poor. It's the classic, would you steal a loaf of bread to feed your child? You can, and some people might excuse it. You might be morally okay, but the law doesn't care about your fucking morals. The law cares about whether or not you broke the fucking law. And stealing is stealing, regardless of the reason you stole. Oh, shit.
And most of those videos have 5 million views. I only get like 500 viewers. Like, I'm not even going to be taking I'm taking maybe 50 views from that video. It's a lot harder to feel, bad about that. So her argument is,
like, I couldn't even just
I'm just a small creator, so they don't apply to me. No, that's not what's happening here. What's happening is they haven't found you, Denims, because to a large channel, your theft, you are a piss ant, legally, financially to them. You are nothing to them because you're so small. They could sue you, they would win, but you
get to fly under the radar because you're such a small creator compared to them that you're not worth their time. It doesn't make the thing you did legal and okay. It just means, it just means that you're not worth their time. Just because you got away with a crime for so long doesn't mean you were doing it the right way. It just means you got away with it. And the more you do it, the more chances of you getting caught. And eventually you will get caught, which is where we're at now.
Nothing to them. You are absolute nothing to them. You do not matter, Denims. So, but just because you don't matter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, she contradicts her own arguments here with this statement. Because remember, like, in the previous paragraph, she was talking about how her personality is so great and so special, and it matters so much that it makes whatever she does fair use. But also, it's okay for her to break the fair use laws because she doesn't matter. Okay.
Doesn't mean what you did isn't illegal. Just because someone doesn't catch you speeding doesn't mean
it's okay to speed.
Speeding isn't illegal. Just because you drive drunk and you don't
get away with it
on a country back road,
we're on the same page,
doesn't mean it's suddenly legal. I don't know if you guys get, I don't know if she gets that. Shortly thereafter, Denims accepts her own bias and says, maybe I'm coping because as a reactor, when I have the content, oh yes, this is indeed coping. Later in the debate, Denims set forth her theory to justify a group viewing session of the third-party content. The Twitch streamers are curators that provide a communal experience of watching content with their audience who do not want to take time to find YouTube content of their own. That's lazy. That's
called a playlist. You can do a playlist.
It's not hard to find the content. You know, I'm sure if you click on a random part of the video, I mean, not be saying anything, sure, whatever. I might like walk away from the screen, but it's about like the communal thing. It's not about the actual show. So they're literally saying
it's a watch party.
It's about the group theft.
Yeah, they're literally saying it's a watch party.
The actual substance.
Literally saying it.
Oh boy, that's bad.
Yeah,
and it's
bad.
like, oh, it's the same reason you watch shows with your friends. You want to watch with other people. It's not. This is not like going to a Game of Thrones watch party.
No, it is. It is a watch party. It is like going to a watch party. That's the point. That's why Ethan keeps harping on the language watch party, because it's literally what she's calling her streams. It was literally titled Ethan Content Nuke Watch Party.
I think when it comes to streamers on Twitch, a lot of people are going to go watch streamers on Twitch for their React content as a curator. So they don't actually want to go through YouTube and watch a bunch of videos. Once again, as a substitute.
Yep.
And they probably will never will go through YouTube and click a bunch of videos. They're like going to Twitch because they like to have it as this streamer is curating fun content and want to watch it. This is once again Denims. This is all Denims is saying. All these are horrible arguments. These are horrible arguments that all go to her being a bad faith creator. This is all bad. I think that people who are watching content on Twitch, curated Twitch content on Twitch, aren't necessarily people that would be watching content on YouTube. So a lot of these arguments boil down to the fact that Twitch lets people get away with, and just because Twitch...
Not people with the right political opinion, which would qualify Twitch for discrimination. I don't know how Twitch can dodge a discrimination thing after this if he can point it out and prove it the way he's proven it. Because they'd have some explaining to do to explain why these creators were allowed to do it, but these creators couldn't. Especially if you got two creators who did the same thing.
Is a very unfair mistress that does enforce their rules.
And the same thing that shouldn't be allowed for anyone. It's not like, oh, I got banned for saying the N-word, but I Show Speed said the N-word and it was fine. Okay, obviously they're not going to ban a black guy for saying the N-word. That doesn't mean that white people can say the N-word. No, but this is something that applies to everybody, not just white people and black people. There's no separation here. There's no reason that this should apply to fucking you and not me, which would, I think, qualify as discrimination.
Unequally, and does not enforce what should be enforced in terms of protections as rigorously as it should be, doesn't mean it's the right thing. It's like just because there's two cops, right? YouTube is the cop that paid attention and got top marks at the academy, right? So YouTube is the top cop. They're the one that catches all the criminals. Number B, Twitch is the fat, drunk, lazy cop.
This guy's
who
great.
Only has the position because his dad is the mayor and he needed a job. And he stays in his car watching Hassan Piker videos all day.
You mean like Hassan Piker only got as far as he did because of who his family was and the fact that, you know, he's the nephew of the guy on the Young Turks and his dad was rich? Yeah, weird how that works, huh?
While huffing donuts, right? That's Twitch. It's YouTube, right? That's the comparison. There, right? That doesn't mean the laws change because a cop is not good at enforcing the law. A lot of the time, the reason that they go and watch React streamers is because they don't want to have to do the effort of going and scrolling through YouTube and clicking on recommends. They're literally saying it's because they're lazy. The people who watch Twitch content are specifically there because they don't want to scroll through YouTube. Denims ultimately concedes that when a viewer watches content curated by a Twitch streamer, it serves as a substitute. Once again, that's it. That's the killer. There's no point in watching something a second time. You already watched it. maybe like you're going to watch it with some other people or something.
Especially since you watched it with no interruptions and you got the full experience, while alongside your Twitch streamer also getting the full experience and not providing any commentary. Yeah.
Or it's been a long time, or you might rewatch the video. But once you watch the video in one place, it's unlikely you're going to watch it again, meaning it's a substitute. She says again, if you watch someone's content in someone else's stream, there's a low likelihood you're going to watch it separately. So once again, substitute is an element. Let's continue down here. Okay, rampant copyright infringement. Okay, so getting past all that good stuff. Despite their hatred towards the clients, they users of the H3 Snark Reddit have an insatiable appetite for their content. These
hate watchers.
Snark users, however, did not want TI to receive any views or advertising revenue for their consumption of TI's content. As a result, H3 Snark has become a locus of copyright infringement of TI content as detailed below. One method the H3 Snark minutes employed to consume TI content was to share links to TI content on YouTube, a website which provides unrestricted access to YouTube videos and public performance them, which constitutes copyright infringement. So they're using technology which enables them better to infringe. That doesn't look good either. YouTube has a particular appeal to the Snark Reddits and H3 Snark users because a video watched on YouTube does not result in a view or advertising revenue of the original on YouTube. H3 Snark mods conducted live chats during TEI's live broadcast. During live chats, the H3 Snark minutes would spam the chat with YouTube links of the broadcast. Once the live stream ended, they concealed the evidence of their infringement by deleting the log. But they can get
the wording, dude. The fucking wording.
Those logs. Below are true and correct screenshots of the mods spamming the live chat.
Yeah, this is the part I wanted, where he goes in on the H3 Snark mods. Ooh. I want to see how fucked they are. I know Denims is fucked. I want to see, like, is he going to get the subpoena for them? Like, what are the odds that these H3 Snark mods, that's it. Like, you've run out of places to hide. It's over for you. It's over.
So, this right here is pretty damning.
Yes.
So you've got the screenshots, got the screenshots. Doe encourage, so that's one of the mods, encourage users to use YouTube as an alternative to watching TEI's video on the official channel by commenting on certain posts. The comments were then wiped. Due to Doe's efforts, the user was anointed as a mod. So obviously not good. We encourage folks to watch on YouTube so it doesn't play ads and contribute. So once again, going to substitution. Right there. They created a post to that effect right here. And they have tools, tips, and guides. And they hide their inducement by deleting the portion of members-only content from their guide. A true and correct screen.
And the fact that they tried to hide the evidence, too. Like, if all this just doesn't point at it, man. Oh. He's gotta be able to get that fucking subpoena based on this. Like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, these guys are cooked. Ethan's gonna get their real names and addresses, and this isn't over. Like, it doesn't even matter how this case turns out. As long as he gets that subpoena, he's got what he wants. He wants the identities of the H3 Snark mods, and once he has that, he's going to court. He's going to court again. Like, this is just the beginning. That's the part I don't think that they all realize, is that this is just the beginning. Whether or not he wins or loses at this point, if his real goal is to get the identity of the Snark mods, then whether or not he wins or loses this is completely irrelevant. All he wants is that subpoena for the Snark mods. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. And I hope that one doesn't go to federal court, too. I hope that we get some kind of, like, video from the court to watch. To, A, get to see what these snarkers look like in person, although the court sketches will probably be funny enough. But to see them fucking whine and squirm on the stand and try to, oh, God, it'd be so juicy. It'd be juicy content, and I want it. God, please let them not go to federal court and it be a court where there's a camera. Ooh, I want to see it so bad.
Screenshot regarding members-only contents below. So showing that they were even stealing members-only.
Shit makes my fucking dick hard. I want to see it so bad.
Only content, which is a paywall, right? TI issues takedown notices for infringing posts and comments on H3 Snark. TEI began to fight back against copyright infringement on H3 Snark by issuing takedown notices, which went to 17 USC Section 512. TEI was extremely surgical about which H3 Snark post would be subject to DMCA.
Whip it out. God, I tell you what, man. If we get that piece of content, if we actually get fucking court recordings of the fucking Snark mods, if they actually go to court where we can watch it, I will whip it out. I will whip it out on stream. I will whip it out. I will dance around. Oh, I'll go all in. I'll go balls deep in this content.
Takedowns, relying on the most pertinent fair use decisions. TEI issued DMCA takedowns for only posts and comments on the entire episode, particularly paywalled content. Comments that provided YouTube link to the entire episodes on TEI content, or posts that contain a clip of TEI content with descriptive, non-critical title and comments that were locked by the H3 Snark mods, and there were no comments after several hours. August 1st, 2024, DMCA takedown. On August 1st, TCI issued a DMCA takedown for H3 Snark entitled H3 Live Show Beyond the Scenes. The post contained a complete version of TEI's video, which was members-only content. On August 2nd...
God, the way he just spells it out, too.
2024, Reddit honored this DMCA takedown. On August 3rd...
Yeah, and then when he gets to the part where Reddit stops cooperating, because right now Reddit's cooperating, so I'm assuming this judge didn't or this lawyer didn't pre-read this, and he's going through it for the first time, and then he's going to get to the part where he's going to just explain it and see that, okay, they were cooperating here, and now they're not cooperating anymore, which means I want to hear him say the word subpoena so bad, and not just because it sounds like penis.
30th, TEI issued a DMCA.
It does kind of sound like penis.
Takedown for the comment by Doe number 3, and that's also there. December 18th, TEI issued a DMCA takedown for the H3 Snark Reddit entitled Ethan and Dan confirmed that posting to Snark will get you banned. The post solely comprised of a clip from the TEI video Ethan debates anti-Semitic Sneeko fan. The post contained no comments because HCI mods locked the Reddit. So once again, this is all stuff.
No comments means no commentary, so how can it be transformative? You literally made it impossible to transform this work and make it fair use because you locked the thread. All that's going to play against them.
They're trying to hide, right? More takedowns. So we'll just go past that because it's just listing more takedowns, more DMCA takedowns. So we can kind of skip that. So they issued a lot of takedowns. That's the spoiler there. And takedowns are a process. So the DMCA is a Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So that's a process by which you take down infringing video. So they had to do that a lot. That's the TLDR there. The H3 Snark mods efforts to issue fraudulent counter notifications. H3 Snark mods made a concerted effort to find fraudulent counter notifications to DMCA takedowns. So the counter notifications are when you can fight back. So Reddit informed that there would be a so-called counter notice issued against the August takedown. So they issued that one. Okay. And the counter notice failed because it failed to include their address and telephone number. That's a big one.
So they tried to counter his DMCA claim, and then it failed because they wouldn't give up their real names and addresses, which is again what he's trying to do here. And I think that this will show the judge that they are desperately trying to hide their identities, which is basically an admission of guilt. They're trying to hide the evidence and hide their identities, and that's why I'm bringing this up in court, is to hopefully get the court to force them to submit this so that we can identify these people and hold them accountable. And I think, pretty sure the judge is going to agree. There's enough reason for a subpoena here that I don't see him not getting it. I will be shocked if he doesn't. And I'll be shocked if this lawyer doesn't mention the word subpoena after everything that we've just seen. Holy shit.
Consent to jurisdiction and a statement made under a penalty of perjury. So they didn't do a proper counter notice. So that's one big thing.
That's what she said.
That's one big thing.
Yes, he said
is that you have to, and pretty much dox yourself or give the information of your lawyer when you do a counter notification. So you can give your lawyer's information.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so they were too dumb to even realize that all they had to do was hire a lawyer to do it for them. and they could have filed this, but then they'd still have to go to court, and Ethan would have drug it out in discovery, so he would have got it in the court case anyway. Because if they counter notify him to get it back up, and Ethan contests that, the next step is court. Yeah. So yeah, it still wouldn't have worked. Like Ethan would have got it eventually. He would have got it in discovery. They'd have had to go face to face with him. He'd get to see them in person.
Information or dox yourself. So one thing people often do that are kind of trolly is they try to DMCA you to get your docs.
Yep. Which, if you can prove it was an invalid DMCA claim, which again means you have to put in a counter notification and take them to court. But that could be an argument in court that they were misusing the DMCA copyright system in order to obtain this information. They weren't using it for the purposes of copyright, which is a crime for you to, use it like that. A false DMCA strike is just like filing a false police report. It's a crime.
It is also evident the first fraudulent counter notice was issued by the H3 Snark mods because, as we stated, we are writing to contest the removal of 2 posts from our subreddit under alleged copyright claims. We believe these reports may have been filed by fans rather than the legitimate copyright holder. So, these are once again.
So their claim for why this DMC strike is invalid and shouldn't be held against their content and it should go back up, or their post should go back up, is because they're saying, we don't believe Ethan filed this notice. We think his fans did.
Failing. So the counter notices are failing.
And they're failing. Because obviously Reddit has the identities of the person that made the claim and they know it's actually Ethan.
Counter notice fail again because the law is wrong. So a lot of these counter notices
are failing.
And they also failed fair use. So these are, once again, failed attempts by H3 Snark when they were trying to repost information. Yeah. So let's go down here. So now we have other content.
Which just adds to the intentionality. Gotcha, bitch. Tried to hide in that damn bush.
Conduct.
Ooh, what you got
that involves
here?
Concealing unlawful behavior. First, deleting posts after Ethan announced legal action. Now, this is a big problem, and the posts are obviously archived. There's going to be places on the internet to find them, and also Reddit themselves is going to have those documents. So, yeah, that's not going to work out very much. They also abuse the live chat feature on Reddit to promote harassment and defamatory statements, including promoting.
Yep, using the live chat feature to hide your evidence. Like, all of this intentionality is going to act against them. All of it.
Some of the egregious offenders into H3 mods. They use sock puppet accounts to conceal their identity. Once again, not necessarily illegal, but just shows deceptive behavior.
Which I'd argue is the point. They're just trying to show the deceptive behavior.
Also, last, they purposely lied about the takedowns to conceal copyright information and to obfuscate, meaning hide, big word. So for the Hassans out there who might not know how to properly use big words, obfuscate means hide, buddy. It means hide. Their intent to siphon views and ad revenue away from the TI. TI creates and registers the nuke. By the fall of 2024, Ethan and Gila's concern reached a fever pitch over Hassan radicalizing his audience with propaganda from Ansar Allah, the Houthis, Hezbollah, and the Hamas. That's a hell of a lot of H's in there. There's only one H that's missing from that, and that's the Austrian painter. The clients were...
I'm wondering if the judge will even be able to say all this stuff, too. Like, how versed is the judge going to be in this foreign policy shit? Or is this just going to make them sound like... All of these sound like scary foreigner names, sound like they could be... They could be terrorists. I don't know. Sounds pretty bad. How do I get that boon? I don't, I guess. Okay. I'll take this, and this. I am kitted out in all gold, baby.
Equally concerned with Twitter's refusal to enforce its community guidelines against Hassan and his so-called waiting room. Other Twitch streamers like Denims, who parrot Hassan, and parasitically leech off his audience by broadcasting immediately or after his streams. Hassan and his waiting room.
I can't believe they even brought up the waiting room thing, too. Like, this is They're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this. Every little thing is going to be held against him. Holy fuck, man. It still blows my mind. Even though I've read these documents, just hearing a lawyer read it is, it's so juicy.
Hijack the necessary and important discussion of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the Gaza war.
Just realizing we're only like halfway through this. This is going to take a minute. So we are going to speed him up to 1.5 and see if he's still listenable. And kind of go from there.
They employed rhetoric that painted Israelis as subhuman, blah, blah, blah. So once again, content, the fact that this is about the Gaza war doesn't matter. What is the content. Like, what did they do with the content? And that is the content nuke. What did they do with the content nuke? Well, the content nuke was obviously a video on Hassan. And let's see here. The deposit copy, the one they filed with the Copyright Office, was received on January 28th. The deposit copy varied slightly, so it doesn't have the conclusion or the sponsors. But otherwise, it's the same, other than...
Which is normal practice, even though they're trying to use that as some kind of defense to be like, oh, see, it's not the same copy, so she didn't legally react to what he copied, to what he filed. And it's like, no, that's normal practice. When TV shows register for copyright, they don't include the commercials. They usually don't include the credits. They include just the content itself. They may not even include like the theme song opening and shit, because that's already been registered with another episode. So it depends. It depends. As with most things in this court case, it's going to be it depends, but that's not the only they think it is.
To prevent the nuke being age restricted, they blurred out footage of the Houthis. So the Houthis were blurred. And there were minor visual edits. Ultimately, all the deposit copy was incorporated in the browser. So the deposit copy is more than the broadcast version, except for the sponsors in the conclusion. Right. Okay. The nuke is we know what the nuke is, right? So we all know the nuke. It's about Hassan, right? So we're not going to go over what the nuke is. We know what the nuke is, right? There's a bunch of segments in it, right? And it's about Hassan, and it's kind of roasting Hassan and going over all that good stuff. So this whole is explaining all of what the nuke is. I don't need to explain the nuke to you. You guys can just go watch the nuke and see what the nuke is and see for yourself. And this is a lot of the value here. So I'm going to skip this part because it legally doesn't matter what the nuke is, but the nuke is a very long video. I have watched parts of it. I haven't watched all of it, but it's a very long video. It's a very long video. So he details
hour and a half.
All of it. And then he details the countdown episode. So he says, okay, here's what the countdown episode is, right? So they also made a live broadcast immediately before. So it's kind of like what I do with my videos. I do my live streams right before I do my fast facts, my premieres, so it dumps into it.
Holy shit, that's a good idea. Instead of posting my VODs before I go live, I should do a countdown for when my new VODs post while I'm live, so people know that, hey, as soon as you're done with this live stream, you can go watch the new content. Oh shit, that's a good idea.
Because that works better. So
I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it a good idea? I tried doing the premieres where you get a live chat during the, watching it for the first time as it premieres on YouTube. That didn't seem to do very well. Most people just don't view the video as soon as it comes up, so that it didn't seem to matter if I did a premiere. It didn't give me any extra views. It didn't seem to matter if I did a premiere or just a regular, upload of the video. The little shots he takes at Hassan are so funny. Yeah, you can tell that he wishes Hassan would have to go through this, but Hassan is smart enough to walk the line without crossing it, where his orbiters are dumb enough to cross it, which is also why he's not supporting them financially, because that could also be used against him later. Like, he is 100% self-serving.
Ethan Klein is using the
and why they keep trying to bait him into supporting them financially, because then you could, if you ever had to take him to court later, go, he clearly supports people who violate fair use, especially when they inevitably lose the case. And then you've got this monetary transaction proven that Hassan was in support of the violation of fair use, because by giving them that money, you're essentially agreeing with them, because that's how the court would see it. That's how most people would see it. Even though the snarkers and his orbiters or his stands will argue that's semantics, truth is, it makes sense that if you give money to it, you're co-signing it, that you believe in the cause, and then that cause would inevitably fail, and then you can say, see, he believes in this thing that's clearly against the law. We all knew it was against the law, but he did it anyway. Yeah.
Good tactic, the same tactic I use. So good movie. Not that you don't know about YouTube, because clearly Ethan knows better about YouTube than me. He's doing better than me. But I'm doing pretty good. I mean, 9,000 live viewers is pretty good. But Ethan's doing a little better. So T.I. made a big broadcast leading up to the news. After T.I. discovered Denims infringed on the Countdown episode, it registered the Countdown episode with the Copyright Office. So both were registered. So the H3 Snark promotes Denims as a substitute. So literally, the H3H3 Snark Reddit tells on Denims and increases the legal case. Hassan Snarkmons knew there was a huge demand to watch the nuke through on-off cameras and promote group viewing sessions. So that's, once again, the group viewing sessions, real problem. Posting about that, a real problem. And here's detailing the posts and all the posts they made, inducing people. So now they're going to have the law of fair use from reaction videos. Okay, so we're getting into the law. Let's do this. Fair use is codified in Section 107 of the Copyright Act. The statute sets forth 4 non-exclusive factors. So guys, this is it. This is the beef. These are the factors. So pay attention. These are the factors. The purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of commercial nature or is nonprofit and education. So these are clearly commercial and making money. Now, being commercial...
The fuck is this guy? This circle's so small. Hold on, we are stopping the content for a second because I'm locking in right now. I am locking in right now. How have I not found this douchebag? It's just me and this one guy. There he is, there he is. He's above me. He's above me. Do I have a crown? Is this going to be a crowned one? Oh, come on. 2 in a night would be great. 2 in a night would be great. Death's coming for you, buddy. Death's coming for you. Woo! There it is. Goddamn, this weapon's OP. Give me fucking. Yes. Give me fucking W's in chat. We are 2. Yeah, oh, I've earned a victory crown. Okay, so it wasn't a crowned one, but still, that's 2 in a night. That's 2 in a night. Come on. Come on. You needed any more proof that this stream's a winner. That this reaction's a winner. That this lawyer's a fucking winner. There it is. Let's fucking go. All right, anyway.
Doesn't necessarily make it illegal. Next, the nature of the work. What type of thing are they doing? Is it parody? Is it comedy? What is the type of the work? What is that doing? Right? Right? Third, the amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to copyright work as a whole.
Yeah, which we're going over with the general guidelines. These aren't hard and fast rules. These are just guidelines for what would qualify something as fair use, which she violates almost all of them. So, not looking good.
And the effect and use upon the provincial market for and value of the copyrighted work.
That's the big one.
So the market. So if it is a substitute, that factor is going to be failed. Also, the amount. So the whole thing. So if the whole thing is used, that's not good. The first fair use factors relates to the problem of substitution, whether the new work supersedes or supplants the original. In this case, ladies and gentlemen, yes or no? Is this intended to supplant the original? The answer is clearly, like without a shadow of a doubt to me, the answer is yes.
Which is why she'll probably get a summary judgment and this shit won't even make it to court. If you fail that one, you're already done. That's the biggest one. That's the biggest one for fair use.
This is meant clearly to replace the original. The central question is, does it add something new with further purpose and character? The mere fact that the secondary use has some purpose is not enough. It has to have a further purpose and meaning and a different character.
I would argue none of the others even matter when she violates the one about being market replacement for the content. That even if she hit the other 3, it still wouldn't matter. Because that one alone elevates it from not just fair use, but actual theft. Because you're outright admitting to stealing views, and views equal ad revenue, and ad revenue equals money. So you're outright stealing views. Like, I think even if you hit all of the other points, the fact that your intention of creating that content was to perform theft would still be enough. That would be my argument. That the other 3 don't even fucking matter now.
A matter of degree, and the difference must be weighed against other considerations like commercialism. So you have to take the fact that they're making money on this into impact as to the amount of commentary. When you weigh those, how does it come out? And this doesn't look good for Little Miss Denims. While a use that has further purpose or different character is said to be transformative, transformativeness is a matter of degree. Indeed, an overbroad concept of transformative use, one that includes any further purpose or different character, would narrow the copyright owner's exclusive right to create derivative works. To preserve that right, the degree of transformation required to make transformative use an original must go beyond that required to qualify as a derivative. The first factor also relates to justification for both use, both in the broad sense and narrow sense. A use that's justified in the broad sense if it has a distinct purpose and that furthers the goal of the copyright, namely to promote the progress of science and arts without diminishing the incentive to create. A use is justified in the narrower sense when it is reasonably necessary to achieve the user's new purpose. Such justification is particularly relevant to assessing fair use. The wide dissemination of the secondary work would run the risk of substitution. So once again, the court is concerned about substitution.
Which she's clearly guilty of, which is why I say the other 3 shouldn't even matter. Which I'm hoping is the conclusion that the that the lawyer eventually comes to, because I think it's the obvious fucking conclusion here.
A critical book review illustrates how a secondary use must be justified. In the broad sense, the use of the original serves a different purpose than the book. Each quoted passage of the review likely serves a different purpose, an object of criticism, than does the book. Critically, this may not always be so. A court must consider each within the whole to see whether the copying is fair. Even book reviews are not entitled to presumption of fairness. So nothing is safe. Once again, copyright is a case-by-case analysis.
Yeah, there's no one thing you can do that's presumed fair always. It's all in how you do it.
Any lawyer that tells you they can 100% predict how a fair use case is going to come out is full of baloney. Okay?
Shit. You've said curse words before. Like, why are you using baloney now? Just say shit. They're full of shit. And we all know it.
Because nobody knows. It's always case by case. But you can usually say, which side did the scales tip
You
on?
gotta do some racing now.
Yeah. Let's get. Well, when the commentary has no critical bearing on the substance or style of the original, to claim fairness in borrowing from another's work diminishes, right? And other factors like commerciality loom large. So how many people watched? How much money did they make? That's the balance. The balance is the fair use side. But okay, how were they profiting on this? And if there's a lot of profit, there's a lot of weight to fight back. And Denims did have a lot of viewers. That's a lot of money. A defendant copies more than is necessary to facilitate common criticism. The law is clear. To be considered transformative criticism, the aspects of the work that reproduce another's protected expression must be in service of commentary on that work. It is not enough for part of the work to have transformative purpose. When the use of the copyrighted work is not consistently transformative, and for the clips are played without much interruption, if any, and used in excess of the benign purpose, that is a problem. The use of voiceovers and headlines and captions and wholesale copyright copying sprinkled with written commentary fails to sufficiently transform. So just voiceovers aren't enough. Additionally, when copyrighted work is simply used to illustrate what a work already depicts, the infringer adds no purpose. The first fair use factor does not favor any user who wants to reach different buyers in different markets, consuming different products. So just because they're on Twitch instead of YouTube doesn't protect them. That is no protection. So being on Twitch versus YouTube or any other platform doesn't change anything.
Which shoots down the entire argument she said about being a curator, and because I'm on Twitch, I'm on a different platform. They were never going to watch it anyway. Well, yeah, doesn't matter.
Commercialism examines the degree to which the new user exploits it for commercial gain, as opposed to incidental use as part of commercial enterprise. When it is motivated by profit. Further, if the defendant is not advertising a scholarly critique, but instead seeks to profit, at least in part, from the inherent entertainment value of the original, the use is commercial. Commercial means bad. Commercial means not allowed. Finally, commercialism exists when a secondary user makes unauthorized use of a copyrighted material to capture significant revenues, as opposed to a direct consequence of copying the original work. In Hosendaya, the court found the first fair use factor favored fair use because Klein's video was quintessential criticism and comment on the Haas video. So once again, proving the Klein, this is the high IQ move that Ethan's doing. He's proving, because he won a copyright case, he's proving that he knows copyright. He's using his own case law. The Kleins were consistently transformative. So they're...
Yeah, you can't argue with the guy under whether or not his opinion's valid when he's the guy whose opinion became law, who wrote the fucking book. It's like arguing with the author of the book as to whether or not they're right about the contents of the book, which people do. People will argue with Stephen King over his books. People will argue with, Tolkien and Martin. They'll argue with all of them and be like, actually, I interpreted it this way. Well, that's not the way I meant it. Yeah, well, I mean, you can see it this way. No, I'm telling you what I wrote. It came from my brain. That's what it means. It's cool you interpret it that way, but you're wrong. And I have respect for authors that just do that just tell the fucking audience that it's cool that you saw yourself in this work or you dig deep into it, but just know that you're wrong. That's not what that meant. You misread that part of the book. Go back and read it again. I know what I meant when I wrote it. I fucking wrote it.
They're good beats when it comes to under the law. Second, the nature of the work. So this looks, is it creative? Is it creative? So the court found in the other Klein case that what the Kleins did was a creative work despite being published. The third factor said that the quantitative amount and qualitative value of the original work used in relation to the justification for the use. So how much are you using?
Yep.
When the amount used is substantial with relation to the infringing work, it is evidence to the value of the copyright work. Copying an entire work is against a finding of fair use. It humiliates, big word, against the finding of fair use. So meaning, if you copy an entire...
Big words, bigly, so true, so true.
Thing, it's not a good look. The new user only copies as much as necessary for his intended use. This factor will not weigh against the new user. That's in the Pressa case. In the Hosendaya case, the other Klein case, the Klein video copied a great deal of the Haas video, but that was necessary for comment and critique. The last is the undoubtedly most important factor, and that is whether the fair use is a substitutable purpose. Whether while the first fair use factor considers whether and to what extent an original work and the secondary use have a substitutable purpose, the fourth factor focuses on actual or potential market substitution. So was this substituting the original in the actual market? And the answer to that, the most important of copyright questions, not according to me legal mindset, according to the real law, it's Harper versus Harper and Row, the 1985
Lay it on him, lawyer. Hit him with the law.
Massive copyright case. If you've taken copyright law, you know that case. Very important. What is it? Is it a substitute? The answer is yes, it is. They are in deep trouble. This is why they do not survive, or they get past the motion to dismiss and they get to discovery. I cannot see that not being a case.
Good, he finally said it, that they won't even get to discovery. Summary judgment, done. That's it. It's over.
Denims group viewing sessions fail to make a fair use of the copyright of the content episode. It is readily apparent that the primary and overriding purpose of Denims' use of the content episode was to commercially exploit a group viewing session of the content episode to serve as a substitute. This is evidenced by watching long sections without any commentary for several minutes. In separate instances, she provides empty chair reactions. So she's off screen for a long time. In total, of the group viewing session was 1 hour and 3 minutes. During the group viewing session, Denims provided approximately 4 minutes of commentary, 43 seconds of partial commentary, and 2 minutes of unrelated and unintelligible content.
So I'm wondering if when he says partial commentary, that he means like when she stops to either talk about things that are off topic or to say things like, that's crazy, chat. What? But it pointed this way. Oh my God, this track's confusing.
So in simple terms, it was uninterrupted for 88% of the time. I have not watched the Denims video, but that is absolutely cooked. The fact that there were for only 10 minutes roughly, we're not even less than 10? Are we going less than 10 minutes? 88%, she's cooked. I mean, I now move my percentage for Denims losing above 90% here.
Yes! Dude, I move it to she doesn't even make it to trial.
Denims is, that's bad. Denims also had a countdown episode take up approximately 3/4 of the screen, while she occupies only approximately a quarter of the screen to de-emphasize her presence. Her objective was to provide a large, unobstructed view to her audience, which further emphasized her primary source was a substitute. Her use of the countdown episode was clearly commercial. Not only did she receive paid subscriptions, donations, and advertising revenue, but she used a countdown episode to advertise a group viewing session. So that's not good. She also added a statement on screen that was a countdown. She added a countdown timer and said, if you want to watch it, come and enjoy the watch party elsewhere by encouraging people. So all of these factors, all of these things are going against Denims. Let's continue here. As stated below, Denims' group viewing sessions of the nuke exemplifies her belief that about the copyright that she experienced during ReactGate. Her group viewing session of the nuke epitomizes her unfounded opinion that copyright infringement and fair use principles are inapplicable to live streaming. Her seriously deranged view, which is in no way based on the law, that live streamers are like Laffy Taffy, that they are immune from any part of copyright infringement. That is insane. They are not Laffy Taffy. They are not the Juggernaut. It's not happening. Number two, her misguided...
I don't get the Laffy Taffy reference. I don't get the Laffy Taffy reference.
Notion that she is not obliged to transform a work with substantial editing and commentary. Her narcissism and misplaced sense of privilege that her personality is sufficient to justify highly commercial unauthorized exploitation. Yeah, that's the fact that she thinks that personality, that your magical personality of herself, not something, her own magical personality is enough. No, darling, no.
But these are enough. Just ask any of my simps on my OnlyFans. My personalities are enough.
It is not.
We all know what that means.
Her group viewing session is was the pinnacle of her career. Imagine if people at the pinnacle of their career are taken out. Crazy, right? At its peak, Denims' group viewing session on Nuke received approximately 45,800. This is exponentially more than she received in her entire career.
Yeah. So the normal that he points out there was between 3,100 and 4,500. So, a group viewing session of the Duke. So, leading up to the nuke, it was 3,100 to 4,500. After the nuke, so she retained viewers after the nuke. So you even get to make the claim that not only did she steal views during the nuke, but she also gets financial gain from watching it because she now has almost 2,000 more fans that have stuck around after the nuke, that the nuke elevated her career. So she doesn't just owe me for watching it. She now owes me for, extra views that come after. Ooh, that's bad.
Her career in overdrive. It gave her huge peak viewers. Her cumulative viewers peaked up. So here's her stats. Her stats have gone up, right?
Yep.
It's readily apparent. So that's clear proof she profited. So she repeatedly says, we're relying on you to stay live so we don't give views. So it's so we're not doing stuff to the giving views a dip. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he confirmed it's coming out, we're going to stream it. So saying, come over here. So she puts out here, unfortunately, we're watching it, but we're not giving any views to that terrible video. We're acting as a substitute. And I appreciate you guys tuning in because I didn't want to watch it by myself. So acknowledging that she's doing it for substitution. There are probably a lot of people that came here to watch it because they wanted to see what someone who would disagree with it would say, but saying they came there to watch it instead of Ethan's side of the video. Denims attempt to feign ignorance that H3 Snark is transparently and comedically false. Rather, it's clear that Denims and H3 Snark mods coordinated their efforts. Indeed, after ending their group viewing session, Denims' screen shows that she had the H3 Snark on her screen. Ooh!
And they can prove she was working with them because she was viewing the Snark, so she can't even pretend like she didn't know the subreddit promoted her. She is so far beyond fucked, man.
Denims began her group viewing session on the nuke 1 minute after the nuke was released to the public. So there was no time. There was no time for them to go and watch it on Ethan's channel and then come to Denims. It was the actual factual replacement. A lot of self-snitching here. On the 74 episodes, separate occasions, Denims group viewing sessions consisted of watching the nuke for 30 seconds with no more commentary whatsoever. These excerpts comprise 70 minutes of the nuke, 70% of its runtime. 70%, guys. 70%. Insane. For the majority of her group viewing sessions, she speaks briefly after showing a long excerpt. The fact that the excerpts show the nuke frequently eclipse her statements emphasize the primary purpose was a substitute. I just can't believe that the excerpt. So she only commented for 30% of the nuke. She commented for 30% of the nuke. The nuke, like just playing it uninterrupted, is 70%. Crazy. Crazy. During Denims' group viewing session, she admits she is not providing sufficient commentary because she does not want to pause. Well, what's the problem with pausing? If I sat here and explained what's wrong on half these things, we'd be here for 20 hours. What am I doing right now? You can stop and talk.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long. If it takes you 20 hours because it's that wrong and that's your criticism, then that's your criticism. You can't not give your criticism because you think it's just too wrong. If that's the case, then condense it down into a YouTube video style commentary on it and just do that instead. Like, there's so many arguments against that point, it's ridiculous.
Talk about it. That's okay. In fact, that's good. That's what you should do, is stop and talk about it. Stop and talk about it. It's not a problem. It's not a sin. But yeah. I've gone in to try to explain why he's correct on one in like every 10 incorrect takes because I'm not trying to spend an entire week here. I don't even understand what to say because, yeah, this is wrong because this and this is another wrong take, another wrong one. Well, I just pause it for like 10 minutes. I feel bad pausing it again because surely there'll be something better here. Denims' admission that she failed to address the majority of the points is self-evident. This failure emphasizes Denims' primary purpose was to host a group viewing session and criticism was an afterthought. That's the main key here, is that the criticism is not the main point of her video. And he brings that up with several examples. And I'm going to skim these because there's just a lot of examples. So Denims fails to address the Hamas section. Denims fails to address the Twitch section, right? Denims even mocks the nuke for making fair use of third-party clips, right? Denims does speak during her group viewing session. Most of her statements are brief in relation to the preceding section shown on the nuke, but have no critical bearing, such as making utterances that are totally incoherent and unclear, or spending time speaking with her chat on topics completely unrelated to the nuke. Well, guys, look, listen.
That's her partial commentary. Got that covered.
I can't judge that. I talk to chat on unrelated topics all the time. Continuing on. Such as, let's see, Denims frequently making superficial comments, such as referring to it as a high school project, a middle school project, calling Ethan so brave, saying she's going to die of cringe, saying Ethan is crashing out.
You could argue those are opinionated and they're jokes, and that's part of the criticism because he makes jokes like that about the Haas one in his video. So that's a whatever statement.
Saying they treat the audience as morons. Since Denims did not pre-screen the nuke, she frequently expresses confusion about a particular excerpt. She did not pre-screen it and frequently makes comments that are later contradicted by the nuke itself. Well, that's not okay. This is a weaker point. And this is why Ethan is putting it later. You do not have to. Let me make it clear. This is weaker. And once again, this is how I'm fair. It is a weaker point to say you have to pre-screen. You do not have to pre-screen. So this is not a winning argument. You do not have to pre-screen for you to have a legal reaction or whatever, or commentary. You don't have to pre-screen. You can just do it raw. And
sometimes the raw blind reaction is part of the content, that people want to see your genuine reaction to something shocking or crazy. So, yeah, that's. I can see how he wants that to be interpreted, because there's a lot of topics covered in his nuke that would require an educated prior knowledge on the subject matter in order to even properly give a critique on it, and that's where he's going with this. But to act like all reaction content has to be pre-screened first, I think that's a bad precedent to set. Again, that one should be open to interpretation, or at least, when you're covering topics of X historical value or blah, 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 like they have to reach a certain complexity. Reacting to prank content, for instance, where you don't know what the prank's going to be, or reacting to a magician where you don't know what the trick is going to be. To pre-screen that would deprive your audience of your reaction, which would be the transforming part. So, yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you guys in chat. On my channel, many times, we do it raw. We do watch it raw.
Yeah, we do it raw. I always do it raw, baby.
And that is not a sin. That's indeed not a sin. Let's continue.
It is if you're Catholic. He's got to be aware of what he's saying. Like, this has got to be lawyer humor, the way he's deadpan delivering this shit, too. Oh, my God. He knows what he said. I see you, legal mindset. I see you, baby.
Okay. In the section containing Hassan's apology of China's genocide, she claims that Ethan failed to point out Hassan was wrong. Shortly after making these comments, they provide evidence that she was absent, which spreads the confusion. So, I think that stuff goes for more of she gets up and she's gone, and therefore she doesn't know, right? She doesn't know because she's gone, or she's not paying attention, or not providing good commentary. So we're going to go down after he gets through all the examples, and there were a lot of examples. Like, there's literally 10 pages of examples, right? Of which I'll read the conclusion here. Denim's conduct is so widespread, several other members of Hassan's waiting room conducted a group viewing session immediately after. So the fact that all these creators did it, the fact that Frogan and Sean DeBlack and Casey Tron and Denims did it, the fact they all did it makes it worse. That's a good example. So he finishes pretty strong. Let's continue. First claim of relief, direct copyright infringement against Denims. So here we go. Here's a legal beat. TEI is the copyright owner of the Countdown and the Nuke. It has a registered copyright. Denims accessed it, right? She played them. They had no license, authorization, or consent for her to exploit the Countdown episode or Nuke in any manner. Rather, their group viewing session constituted unauthorized reproduction, public performance, and derivative work in violation of TEI's rights in 17 U.S.C. So, by the way, those...
And citing the specific law that they violated too. Ooh, that's a bad look.
Random comments that people talk about Ethan Klein saying people can clip his content, that's not a license. That's not something that's going to hold up in court. I've watched it.
Thank you.
No, it's not enough. So everyone who said watch it, like, oh, he said you could do whatever. No, he never said that. He never said that. Right? I've watched it. Due to Denim's acts of copyright infringement, they suffered damages in an amount to be determined by trial.
Plus, he clarifies immediately after that the stuff that the way they're watching it still wouldn't apply. It's just these are just bad shit post arguments. Like all this little Twitter fucking H3 snark argument bullshit that they're doing. Shit bears no weight in the real world. This is internet, public fucking jerk offs because you guys want to argue on the internet. Like, that shit doesn't apply to the real world, man. These people are not living in reality.
Due to the act of copyright infringement, she obtained profits. They were done with actual and constructive knowledge, and they were willful, intentional, malicious, or taken with reckless disregard for their rights. Their second claim is against the mods. The mods facilitated.
Here we go. I want to see what he says about the mods.
Copyright. They are responsible, and they materially contributed. Because of that, they suffered damages, and they had constructive knowledge. So they're asking for the following relief. So TEI, so that's Ethan Klein, wants to be awarded defendants, so that's both the mods and Denims and the H3 mods. They want to have all the profits plus the losses. So not only the...
Here's where we come to the substantial damages that you can only claim if you copyrighted the work before publishing, which he did. Normal people who would just upload a YouTube video and not, pay attention to this stuff, they just upload it like normal, and then somebody steals it and they got to take them to court. You wouldn't be able to get the substantive damages part. You wouldn't be able to get this. You would just be able to get like loss of revenue stuff. So this is where he takes it a step further.
Money that Denims made, but also, more importantly, the money that Ethan lost. Because Ethan lost more money than Denims made. Because Ethan gets paid more for his views. than Denims does, because he has sponsors and other things like that go into the equation. So she's getting DP, double punch.
He knows what he's doing. He is self-aware. I see you, legal mindset. Oh, is this how you write your fucking court docs? Where you sneak in the jokes? God, he's so good at it. He keeps sneaking them in there. She got DP'd.
Punished, right? By her profits.
God, I love lawyer humor. The way he just delivers it and keeps going. But we all saw what you did there.
Having to go to Ethan and Ethan's losses. That's a Denims DP. Right? And H. Mark DP. Right?
and he like doubles and triples down on it to make sure that she got the joke. Did you get it? Did you get it? She was doing a DP. She got DP'd. Denims got DP'd, guys.
And that's what's attributable to the infringement.
I know what I'm titling the video now. Oh, God, it's so good.
Now, TI can also be awarded profits plus losses. Once again, I think the losses are the more substantial. Attributed to defendant's infringement of the nuke, the exact sum to be proven at trial, or if elected, and here's why he had to register, statutory damages.
That's the word I was looking for, not substantial. Statutory. Like college rape. It's statutory. Oh, I know what I'm calling this. The Denims DP. Fuck, I love this dry, legal humor. The way you can just make fun of someone legally, and there's nothing they can do about it. Oh, it's so good.
The amount of $150,000. So, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, she is going to...
Let's see what he, brings the total out to. Because I tried to guess what the total came to. We'll see if he even does the math. So you're looking at least $150,000, plus his lawyer's fees. So that's another couple $100,000 right there, probably. Plus the money she made, plus damages, the money he lost.
I have to pay the losses of Ethan Klein plus her revenue plus at minimum, $150K. You got $150K on the top. That is spicy.
Damn. She might beat the Carl Jobs one. Carl Jobs got what, $350K? She's getting 100 plus all that. She may end up owing more than Carl Jobs, and that was enough to bankrupt Carl Jobs, and he was a bigger YouTuber than Denims is. So she's cooked.
And the judge could elect.
Might want to consider giving up that right to fair use, Denims. Settlement's looking pretty sweet now, isn't it? I mean, you can give up your right to fair use. You can give up your right to a home. It's going to get foreclosed on when you go bankrupt.
By the way, the judge could elect to not employ statutory damages and can use the other method, right? But I'm saying if they choose statutory damage, $150K plus the damages, that's a lot. That's cooking.
All right, that's the end of the video. Fuck, I'm going to stop right there. That's what I'm going to call the content for tonight, guys. It's 4 a.m. Holy shitballs. She is way more cooked than I thought she was. Way more cooked. Holy damn. Well, we read it. I interpreted most of it correctly. I'm proud of myself. I do somewhat think like a lawyer. I didn't nail everything that he nailed, but hey, I haven't been to law school. The fact that I've been through the court system enough to pick up on some of the language and can accurately do it. But in all honesty, don't want to pat myself on the back too hard because this was so insanely obvious that you don't need a legal mind to figure out how guilty she is. Denims is beyond cook. I think she should consider, giving up fair use as opposed to giving up her home when she goes bankrupt. But hey, choice is yours, Denims. I can't wait to see him read the other two. They were fun to read in and of themselves, to just read them raw. And we know how much this lawyer likes it raw. But I can't wait to see him read them too. In any case, that'll do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Check out Legal Mindset. This may be the funniest fucking YouTube lawyer I've seen because he finds ways to get the little edgy jabs in there. Hey, iDubbbz, pay attention right here, but this is how you do safe edgy. This is how you do safe edgy. Fuckwit. Anyway, thanks for watching this, guys. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so we can get some monetization on the videos. We got monetization on the live streams, which we do every night at midnight, and I invite you guys to come join. It's a wild ride. There's as much stuff as you guys are seeing in this VOD. This is not the entirety of the stream. There's a lot of stuff that you guys miss, including gameplay segments, me going through Twitter, and just other nonsense. It's a fun ride. There's also a link for the Discord down below. You'll want to join that, where the conversation just keeps going all day long. For now, though, I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, everybody.